Game calendar year 302, Aoki City. Within a 2-bedroom, 1-living-room apartment in this massive floating city, 4 dishes were neatly arranged on the dining table. Braised pork ribs, sweet and sour spare ribs, lion's head meatballs, and stir-fried baby greens, all Jong Sun's favorites. The pork and ribs came from low-tier breeding secret realms, while the greens were a luxury sourced from low-tier planting secret realms. The meat was harvested from captive, bred saber-toothed porcupines, boasting fragrant, tender flesh with a delightful texture. It was clear his mother had spent a great deal of resources preparing this meal. The family of 3 could rarely afford such extravagance on ordinary days. Come on, Xiao Sun, eat more. Tomorrow is your awakening day. Fill your stomach and get your body into peak condition. It'll raise your chances of unlocking a high-grade talent. Jiang Sun looked at the middle-aged woman lined with weariness, warmth swelling inside him. This was his mother. Ever since his father vanished during an expedition into the wild 10 years prior, only his mother, his younger sister, and he remained to rely on one another. His younger sister Jiang Xiaoxiao was 5 years his junior. She was still below the awakening age, attending middle school to learn the bizarre, varied knowledge of this world. The idea that eating well would yield a superior talent was little more than a comforting delusion the woman clung to. Everyone in this world underwent awakening on their 18th birthday. Once awakened, they would unlock their game panel and select a class. Yet frustrating official statistics revealed that 80% of all awakenings yielded life occupation talents, and merely 20% produced combat occupation talents. His mother had awakened the life occupation talent culinary mastery, forcing her to take up work as a chef. She worked late every single day, and only returned early today to prepare this special dinner for Jiang's son. Go for it, brother. Awaken an SSS rank talent, and we'll live the good life off you. You crush monsters across the world, while Mom and I focus on looking great. Jiang Xiaoxiao mumbled with her cheeks stuffed full of braised pork ribs. Where did this teenage girl get such overly dramatic fantasies? Jiang Sun shot a glance at his sister. This was not the time to discipline her, but once his awakening concluded, he would set her straight if she kept spouting such wild notions. Don't worry, Mom. I will definitely awaken a combat talent. Jiang Sun reassured his mother, though deep down he harbored doubts. The odds of unlocking a combat occupation were abysmally low. Resources were severely scarce in this world, ever since the game Guanlan descended upon Blue Planet. All fundamental supplies humanity relied on had to be harvested from secret realms. Secret realms fell into many categories: planting realms for growing grain, fruits and flowers, breeding realms for raising livestock to supply meat for humanity, combat realms designed for players of varying tiers to level up through battle. Yet one immutable truth remained. Even with the world transformed by game mechanics, professional practitioners possessed only one life. There was no respawn. The sole exception existed within select special trial secret realms, where death merely ejected participants rather than ending their lives permanently. This explained why countless practitioners with mediocre talents, especially those with life occupations, remained trapped at low tiers for their entire lives. Unable to level up or break through to higher ranks, they were forced to work endlessly to survive. 300 years had passed since Guanlan arrived on Blue Planet. The planet's surface area had expanded exponentially. Some unknown force mutated most native creatures and humans into monsters. Beasts spawned from Blue Planet itself, alongside countless alien monsters pouring through dimensional rifts, seized dominion over the surface. Humanity was forced to retreat into floating megacities that materialized alongside the game's descent. Fortunately, mankind had secured control of 4 divine cities: Taichu, Hongmeng, Zhaohua, and Yonghang. These citadels hovered 10,000 meters above ground, vast and magnificent. Rumor claimed each housed innumerable high-tier practitioners. Beneath the divine cities lay 12 first-tier main cities, 36 second-tier main cities, and 108 third-tier main cities. Aoki City was a third-tier main city, suspended 100 meters in the air, home to over 10 million residents. Over 3 centuries of evolution under the game's rules, humanity's population had flourished and the number of practitioners swelled. Even so, humanity remained merely a third-rate power on post-dissension Blue Planet. Generations of pioneers had strived tirelessly to reclaim dominion over the planet's surface, yet all attempts had failed. To this day, humanity quietly accumulated strength. Whenever Jiang Sun gazed toward the ground from the city's edges, a shudder rippled through his soul. He could scarcely fathom what unimaginable power forged floating megacities capable of sustaining tens of millions. This was only a third-tier main city. He could not begin to imagine the scale of second-tier and first-tier main cities. For now, he had no chance to witness them. Born and raised in Aoki City, he had never set foot outside its bounds. The city earned its name from the towering ancient tree standing at its center. Its sprawling canopy shaded the entire settlement, and its cyan trunk gave rise to the title Aoki City. Several colossal statues of humanity's heroes stood before the massive trunk, one depicting the warrior who discovered and seized Aoki City for mankind. Shortly after transmigrating into this world, Jiang Sun was endlessly curious about everything around him. He often skipped classes with his friend to visit the giant tree at the city center, only to be escorted back to school by city patrol officers. His homeroom teacher had rapped his knuckles countless times as punishment. Thankfully, his skull was sturdy, or he would have ended up with a bump on his head. Jiang Sun had transmigrated 10 years ago. For a decade, he had waited fruitlessly for a golden finger, and finally abandoned hope. All he could do now was pray that tomorrow's awakening would bring some surprise. 300 years before Guanlon descended, Blue Planet's civilization and technology followed a trajectory similar to his previous world. Everything changed the moment the game arrived. After 3 centuries, this world bore little resemblance to his old life. Practitioners formed the bedrock of civilization. Life practitioners secured food and supplies to sustain humanity's survival. Combat practitioners blazed new paths, opened secret realms, eradicated surface monsters, and expanded humanity's living space. All teenagers yet to awaken shared the same dream, unlocking a combat occupation. They dreamed of warriors tearing monsters apart with bare hands, archers striking from afar with graceful precision, mages unleashing dazzling, devastating elemental spells. These visions were etched into the hearts of every youth, a sacred aspiration of adolescence. Pushing stray thoughts aside, Jiang Sun ate quietly, savoring the meal his mother had prepared. Though a transmigrator, he had wholeheartedly accepted this family. His mother's hands were rough and calloused from years slaving over stoves to provide for them. His quirky, mischievous younger sister brought him constant headaches, yet as the elder brother, he maintained order in the household. Sibling dynamics were always a struggle. If he failed to keep her in check, she would run wild over him. Listening to his sister chatter about amusing events at school, a soft smile tugged at Jiang Sun's lips. After dinner, he turned in early, waiting for the dawn. The next morning, clouds drifted past rows of towering buildings, carrying thick mist, the unavoidable downside of living within a floating city. Fog wrapped around the dense canopy of the giant Aoki tree, shrouding the whole city in ethereal haze, like a fairyland. Jiang Sun rose long before sunrise. Standing beside his bedroom window, he stared out at the sea of clouds, his heart heavy with anticipation and unease. At 8 o'clock in the morning, after dropping his sister off at school alongside their mother, the pair headed for the awakening hall. A crowd of parents and soon-to awaken youngsters had already gathered outside. The rules of Guanlon were strange. No one could unlock their panel or learn skills until their 18th birthday. Thanks to widespread healing practitioners, illness was rare. Suffering from a cold, a basic healing spell cured all ailments and replenished vitality, though the side effect was frequent nosebleeds in the following days. As a result, all unawakened civilians enjoyed robust health. Within this city of millions, roughly 500 to 600 people reached their 18th birthday every day. The Awakening Hall was always the liveliest location in Aoki City. Parents brought their children here daily for the awakening ritual. Though a small number of people underwent awakening after their birthday, nobody chose to delay the moment if they could avoid it. The Awakening Hall was a cone-shaped edifice faced with dark gray rune-carved stone. No windows broke its exterior. It resembled a rectangular pyramid, save for a slowly rotating blue halo crowning its peak. Constructions forged by the game possessed an otherworldly charm. Jiang Sun had long wondered what that rotating halo was. He once asked his homeroom teacher, who explained it was the spirit pivot halo. It had rotated nonstop for 300 years since Guanlon descended. Its function was simple. The game used the halo to scan the soul data of every unawakened person, generating talents and matching suitable occupations based on the scan results. Jiang Sun accepted the explanation readily. 2 massive stone doors formed the main entrance. Carved across the lintel were 8 powerful characters. At 18, destiny unfolds. Hurry inside to queue. Plenty of people have gone in already, his mother reminded him. Jiang Sun took his mother's hand and stepped through the entrance. Beyond the doors lay a vast front hall housing official registration counters operated by the Great Xia government. Every candidate completed registration before entering the ritual chamber. A floating data monument in the center of the hall displayed real-time information, talent rank, talent name, and chosen occupation for every newly awakened person. Jiang Sun approached an empty counter. Behind it sat a young woman with twin ponytails, warm and amiable. She filled out his paperwork at breathtaking speed, her hands moving so fast they blurred. Jiang Sun could barely keep up with her pace. She must have awakened some talent-boosting writing speed. Her swiftness was incredible. "Little guy, what do you think of my speed?" "Pretty impressive, right?" the young woman teased, noticing his stunned expression. Jiang Sun was caught off guard by her playful banter. "Fair enough. That speed might just push me to step up my game. Quit your teasing and get on with your awakening." Before Jiang Sun could banter further, a burly man waiting in line behind them spoke up. He was annoyed to wait while the young man chatted with the clerk. Chastened, Jiang Sun collected his awakening token and headed toward the ritual chamber. The circular ritual chamber housed 18 awakening platforms. Each platform was encircled by a faint blue light ring, with ribbon-like beams of light stretching upward through the ceiling to connect with the spirit pivot halo atop the hall. A miniature floating data stele hovered above each platform, displaying real-time awakening results. Every platform was occupied. Candidates stood with closed eyes, their expressions shifting between furrowed concentration and unrestrained joy. No one could tell what visions unfolded in their minds. Most descended from the platforms looking dejected, their awakening results disappointing. Jiang Sun glanced at one stele. Occupation farmer, C. Rank talent accelerated growth. Another life occupation. Those who awaken combat occupations stepped down beaming. Regardless of talent grade, anyone with a combat occupation had room to grow. Even the weakest could find work as guards for planting secret realms after leveling up. The work carried risks, yet it was preferable to the endless overtime endured by life practitioners. Jiang Sun silently prayed. He had no desire for endless monotonous labor. All he wanted was a combat occupation talent. He picked a platform with a shorter queue and lined up under the staff's guidance. Scanning the crowd, he spotted a familiar face in another queue, Li Lingxi, his class flower. Jiang Sun waved. As if sensing his gaze, Li Lingxi turned toward him. She laughed at the sight of him craning his neck and waving, then waved back. The distance between them made conversation impossible, so Jiang Sun dropped his hand. He never imagined Li Lingxi shared the same birthday and would also undergo awakening today. She came from a wealthy family. Classmates whispered her father was a third-tier practitioner, a prominent figure in Aoki City. Jiang Sun and Li Lingxi had always gotten along well in school. Drawing on experience from studying for university entrance exams in his previous life, he excelled in this world's curriculum, consistently claiming first place in class examinations. Li Lingxi always ranked second, and the two often exchanged notes and discussed coursework. Soon, Li Lingxi's turn arrived. She stepped onto the platform and closed her eyes to focus. Moments later, a bright smile spread across her face. Spirit Perception, Grade A, Occupation Mage. Jiang Sun stared in surprise. Sure enough, she had unlocked a combat occupation. Their class had produced a mage, a powerful ally to have. Li Lingxi walked down from the platform, grinned at Jiang Sun, and cupped her hands around her mouth to mouth two words. Grade A. Though far apart, Jiang Sun read her lips clearly. It was innocent youthful competitiveness. Jiang Sun had always outperformed her academically, and now she was eager to celebrate her victory. Jiang Sun gave her a thumbs up, genuinely happy for his classmate. Shortly after, his turn came. He strode steadily onto the awakening platform and stepped into the blue light ring. The ring sealed around him and began spinning faster. Jiang Sun felt as though he had been placed inside an MRI scanner. Closing his eyes and calming his mind, his consciousness was pulled into a milky white void. A neutral mechanical voice echoed. Detecting unawakened individual. Commencing soul data scan. Scan complete. Initiating talent awakening. Talent awakening successful. Your talent. Experience amplification. Detecting data anomaly. Initiating correction. Correcting. The system voice seemed to stutter. He had never heard of such a glitch. His teachers had insisted the system was an incomprehensible existence that never aired. What was happening now? Correction complete. Abnormal soul data detected. Talent recalibrated. Your final awakened talent. Universal experience. Universal experience grade B. You may store acquired experience to strengthen various targets, including skill levels, skill tiers, summon beasts, equipment, and more. Hidden attribute. This enhancement carries inherent rule-based properties. There it was, a combat occupation talent. Jiang Sun heaved a sigh of relief. Combat talents unlocked 8 foundational combat occupations to choose from. Life occupation talents only offered civilian roles, chefs wielding woks, farmers hoeing fields, and the like. Talent awakening finished. Please select your occupation. As the announcement faded, 9 silhouettes materialized within the milky white void. The Iron Bulwark, focused on physical defense. The Warrior, balanced in strength. The Assassin, relying on agility for burst single, target damage. The Mage, an intelligence-based ranged spellcaster. The Archer, agile physical ranged attacker. The Spirit Shepherd, balancing intelligence and physique for healing and support. The Summoner, who summons beasts to fight by their side. The final silhouette was shrouded in swirling black mist, its features obscured, the random occupation. Choosing this option could unlock a hidden occupation. Jiang Sun stared at the 9 figures. These were the 8 foundational combat occupations provided by the Guanlon game for all awakened practitioners. What career should I choose? Everyone's career selection must align with their innate talent. The higher the compatibility, combined with each class's unique stat growth system and skills, the greater the talent's effects can be unleashed. This was no simple linear boost like 1 + 1 = 2. The enhancement was exponential. Yet as Jiang Sun looked at his talent, he realized it was universal. It was compatible with every single class. He admired mages who could wipe out hordes of monsters with ease, and assassins whose movements were elusive and unpredictable. But none of these classes seemed able to fully support his talent. His talent allowed him to upgrade all of his skills, even raising their tier, by using universal experience. That meant he required an astronomical amount of experience points. Worse still, he was a late bloomer. He gained 0 combat bonuses in the early stages. Picking standard classes such as Warrior or Mage would barely improve his experience gain efficiency. Jiang Sun's gaze drifted toward the Summoner statue. Never choose Summoner. If anyone picks this class, don't ever claim you are my student. His homeroom teacher's warning echoed in his mind. Summoners were looked down upon in this world for 2 major reasons. First, a summoner's initial familiar was summoned at random. Its strength relied entirely on luck, and once summoned, the bond between summoner and familiar became permanent. Second, nurturing familiars consumed staggering resources and siphoned experience away from the summoner. Experience was split evenly between the summoner and all familiars. With 1 familiar, each received 50% of all earned experience. With 2 familiars, every party only gained 33% each. If you summoned a weak familiar, you were finished. You would have wasted a valuable combat class talent. If you managed to summon a high-tier familiar, you could enjoy a period of dominance. But your second familiar would once again be random. That was the pitfall of being a summoner. There were powerful summoners in existence, yet none ranked among the absolute top-tier experts. The common saying across the realm went, "Summoning feels great at first, but disaster awaits you later." That was the consensus everyone held about summoners. Jiang Sun, however, had nothing to fear. He possessed universal experience. Even if he summoned a pathetically weak familiar, he could pour universal experience into it and turn it into a divine beast. Nothing could stay feeble under that power. Having made up his mind, he hesitated no longer. He reached out and touched the summoner statue, finalizing his choice. You have selected the class, Summoner. Awakening complete. Inventory, friends, chat channels, trading, and other modules have been unlocked. You may access them at will. A flash of white light washed over Jiang Sun, and he felt his consciousness return to his body. Before he could open his eyes, loud murmurs erupted throughout the awakening hall. Whoa, another fool chose Summoner. Where does this guy get his confidence? Does he really think he'll land a gold-tier familiar on his first summon? All the chatter targeted Jiang Sun, the new Summoner. Jiang Sun's face darkened. Who are they calling overconfident? He turned and hurried toward the exit of the awakening hall, hoping to slip away quietly. He had barely walked halfway when a hand grabbed his wrist. He turned to see Li Lingxi staring at him with a playful smile. Well, Summoner, why are you running off? It's far too hot inside the awakening chamber. I wanted to step outside to cool down. Jiang Sun replied with a straight face. I know you're not reckless. You must have your reasons for picking Summoner. Still, my talent grade beats yours this time. Call me sister, and I'll take you along to level up. Huh, a powerful ally offering to team up of her own accord? Sister, sister, sister. You are breathtakingly beautiful, elegant beyond compare, and wonderfully approachable. Please take me leveling with you. Jiang Sun spoke glibly. When she heard his lavish praise, Li Lingxi's cheeks flushed pink. She pulled her hand away and glared at him, pretending to be annoyed. Since you're so good with words, I'll take you. I'll assemble a party. We'll head to the beginner's secret realm to grind levels first thing tomorrow morning, all right? Perfect. Whatever you say, sister. The two walked out of the new awakening hall together into the front lobby, where Jiang Sun's mother waited for him. When she saw Jiang Sun walking out alongside a young woman, the worry on her face softened slightly. She forced a smile and stepped forward to greet her. Li Lingxi responded politely and gracefully. Greetings, Aunt. A warm smile spread across his mother's anxious face. Hello, dear. You must be a friend of Xiaoxuan's. Come visit our home sometime, and I'll cook you delicious food. After exchanging a few pleasantries, Li Lingxi and Jiang Sun added each other as friends on their panels. Communication was now far more convenient. They could speak directly through their minds. Before the awakening panel appeared, technological advancement had stalled. Ordinary people without awakened panels could only communicate via mobile phones. There were no short video platforms or instant messaging apps. People could only make phone calls. To Jiang Sun, who came from a world saturated with online content, it felt like traveling back to the Stone Age. Now, with the panel active, he could send messages just by thinking, without lifting a finger. After bidding Li Lingxi farewell, Jiang Sun and his mother boarded a carriage pulled by a summoned beast to head home. The beast pulling their carriage resembled a massive horse with two horns sprouting from its head. It looked imposing, and it could fly through the air while drawing the carriage. Though excellent for transportation, this breed of familiar was extremely weak in combat. This was another common use for summoners in this world. You chose summoner? Why would you make such a baffling choice? His mother sighed. Your first familiar is completely random, and the odds of getting a strong one are slimmer than awakening a combat talent. You already unlocked a combat class talent. Why throw it away on summoner? Mom, don't worry. I've got a solid plan. Just wait and see. Once I start earning money, you won't need to work at the restaurant anymore. I'll support you and my sister. Jiang Sun grinned widely. His mother shook her head and tapped him lightly on the forehead. Jiang Sun had always been stubborn. Once he settled on a decision, no one could persuade him otherwise. Besides, his awakening and class selection were finalized. There was no point dwelling on it. The summoner driving the carriage spoke up. What's wrong with summoners? Do summoners owe anyone anything? I earn a living transporting passengers with my familiar and support my whole family just fine. Mother and son exchanged a glance and said nothing, not daring to argue. He had a point. There was nothing wrong with earning an honest living. Before they parted, the carriage driver offered Jiang Sun some encouragement. Don't lose heart, young man. I became a summoner by choice too. I may not fight monsters, but I can easily provide for myself. I work 20 hours every day and sleep 4, and I get by just fine. After roughly half an hour, they arrived at their home in the old residential district on the western side of the city. As soon as he stepped inside, Jiang Sun rushed to his bedroom to examine his stats. Classed individual, Jiang Sun level, LV.1 health points, 100/100 mana points, 100/100 talent. Universal experience grade B class, summoner initial skills, familiar augmentation LV.1 passive. All attributes of familiars increased by 5%. Summoning LV. 1. Condense mana to summon or recall familiars. Current maximum familiar capacity, 1. Mana Bolt LV.1 passive. Condense mana to launch projectiles, dealing damage equal to 0.5 times intelligence. Experience, 0 out of 150 base attributes constitution, 1 strength, 1 agility, 1 intelligence, 1 unassigned attribute points, 0 first stat display. Stat panels will not appear repeatedly later. He was familiar with these basic stats from school lessons. All humans received 1 point in every base attribute upon awakening, courtesy of the world of Guanlan. There was no use complaining about it. Eager to test his first summon, Jiang Sun wondered what strange creature he would call forth. As someone who had endured all the hardships of life on Blue Star, he refused to be defeated by the limitations of the summoner class. He activated the summoning skill. Golden light bloomed on the floor before him, then quickly faded away. Once the light vanished, only an iron sphere sat on the ground. Jiang Sun rubbed his eyes in disbelief and looked again. It was still just an iron sphere, lying motionless on the floor. If not for the unique mental link shared between summoner and familiar confirming this was his summoned creature, he would have assumed his sister had pranked him by placing an iron ball in his room. What on earth is this? Jiang Sun held his head and sighed. He could already picture his classmates roaring with laughter once they learned his first familiar was an iron sphere. He imagined his former teacher using him as a cautionary tale for future students. Did you hear? Once a young man with a combat class talent foolishly chose summoner. Guess what his first summon was? An iron sphere. Fine. There was nothing he could do now. He opened the familiar stat sheet. Familiar, iron sphere black iron tier rank. Tier 0 newborn level, LV. 1 health points, 200/200 attack, 10 defense, 30 skills. Impact, accelerate toward a target and crash into them, dealing damage equal to 1.0 times attack power. Cooldown, 1 second. Its defense was decent, but what else could it do? Truly a low tier familiar, though at least it wasn't a blank tier creature. Within the world of Guanlan, familiars were ranked: blank tier, black iron, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, epic, legendary, and mythic. A level 1 ordinary monster typically had around 200 HP, 30 attack power, and 5 defense. For the iron sphere to defeat one monster, it would need to strike 20 to 30 times. Combined with his own damage output, he might just be able to solo level 1 monsters. To avoid embarrassment, Jiang Sun decided not to join Li Lingxi's party. If she invited their classmates along, he would never live down the humiliation. He would venture into the beginner trial secret realm alone to grind monsters instead. The beginner trial secret realm was custom, built by Guanlan for all newly awakened classed individuals. It followed one core rule: death sent you out of the realm, with no real loss of life. That was why nearly all new awakeners chose this place as their first hunting ground. Most classed individuals leveled up to level 7 or 8 here before moving to other areas. The beginner trial secret realm remained open without time limits and unlimited entry attempts. Having settled on his plan, he sent a message to his only friend on the panel, politely declining their leveling arrangement for tomorrow. He simply could not bear the shame of showing up with an iron sphere familiar. Li Lingxi did not press him, merely replying, "Reach out anytime you need help." What a waste. He'd just found a powerful ally, yet he couldn't team up with her. If only he'd summoned a goblin or shadow wolf instead. At the very least, those would not draw ridicule. An iron sphere? Seriously? He stepped forward and picked up the iron sphere resting on the floor. It felt cold and heavy in his hands. When he let go, it hit the floor with a dull thud and stayed exactly where it landed. It really just lay down wherever it fell. Still, through their summoning bond, Jiang Sun sensed a faint consciousness within the sphere. He could not begin to imagine how such awareness existed inside a metal orb. He sent a mental command for it to attack. The iron sphere lifted off the ground and hurtled straight toward the wall. A loud boom echoed, leaving a deep crater in the plaster. The whole room shook from the impact. Not bad power, he thought. The sphere prepared to strike again, and Jiang Sun quickly ordered it to stop. If it kept smashing the walls, the entire house would be wrecked. Though it possessed faint awareness, the sphere seemed rather unintelligent. Its only trait was unyielding toughness. Once ordered to attack, it would crash into targets relentlessly until told to halt. After slamming into the wall, the iron sphere's HP did not drop at all, showcasing its incredible defensive capabilities. Other summoners' familiars might not be suited for battle, yet they could pull carriages. What could this sphere even do? Work in a blacksmith forge? What rotten luck. Rapid, loud knocks pounded on his bedroom door. It was not the iron sphere striking the wall. Jiang Sun realized the wall it had damaged separated his room from his younger sister's. Only his sister Jiang Xiaoxiao knocked in such an urgent fashion. He heard her voice outside. "Jiang Sun, why are you smashing the walls?" "Mom, brother is wrecking the house. Come stop him before he destroys our only home." Jiang Sun sighed and opened the door. Jiang Xiaoxiao darted inside. She glanced at the trash bin, then spotted the massive dent in the wall and stared at him suspiciously. "What's wrong? You picked summoner and got so upset you started hitting walls. Honestly, brother, you have zero resilience. It's just summoner. If things go badly, you can always find other work. With your looks, you'd surely get by." This sister of his was truly a little devil. He flicked her forehead sharply, leaving a small red mark. Jiang Xiaoxiao nearly cried and immediately ran off to complain to their mother. Ignoring the troublesome girl, Jiang Sun grabbed the iron sphere and headed outside. He planned to visit the beginner trial secret realm alone. He tossed the heavy sphere up and down in his hands as he walked, using it as makeshift weight training. If strangers saw him, they would never guess this metal orb was a summoner's familiar. Who would expect a summoning beast to be a plain iron sphere? He wondered which strange world this creature hailed from. The world of Guanlan was full of endless surprises. He notified his mother of his plans and left the house. The beginner trial secret realm stood in the southern district of Qingmu City, not far from the Awakening Hall. A vast public plaza bustled with crowds. 12 portals lined the plaza, all leading to the beginner trial secret realm, officially named the Sprout Realm by Guanlon's system. The plaza itself was known as Sprout Square. It was incredibly beginner-friendly. Around 600 to 700 people awakened each day in Qingmu City, and most new-classed individuals stayed in the relatively safe Sprout Realm until level 5 or higher before traveling elsewhere. The square was always packed with people. The Great Xia government operated an official outpost here to handle emergencies and manage party registrations. Shops selling beginner equipment and healing potions circled the plaza, catering to new challengers of the secret realm. Monsters ranging from level 1 to 5 roamed the Sprout Realm, making it ideal for new awakeners to reach level 5. Jiang Sun registered his information and selected solo entry before stepping through the glowing portal. When the clerk saw that his class was Summoner, he offered encouraging words. Don't lose hope. Let your familiar take the hits. If things turn dangerous, exit the realm immediately. Treat it as practice. Shortly after Jiang Sun entered the realm, Li Lingxi arrived at the square with 4 teammates. She caught sight of his retreating back. Wait, is that Jiang Sun? He went into the realm alone. Did he find another party instead of teaming up with me? Just you wait. I'll give you a proper scolding when you come out. Li Lingxi muttered to herself. Li Lingxi was quite influential at school. She had assembled a party of talented classed individuals aiming to level rapidly. Much to her surprise, Jiang Sun remained inside the secret realm for an unexpectedly long time. Waiting for him to emerge was out of the question. The Sprout Realm contained 5 layers. The first layer consisted of grasslands populated by 2 varieties of level 1 monsters. The first were grass spheres, creatures resembling spiky tumbleweeds that rolled across the terrain. They looked cute, but their thorns inflicted sharp pain on anyone struck. The second species were hard-shell beetles, roughly the size of small dogs. Their powerful pincers could knock opponents flat with a single strike. Jiang Sun stepped onto the grassland, with the exit portal directly behind him. To leave, he would need to return to this spot and activate the portal. Before starting to hunt monsters, Jiang Sun wanted to run a simple experiment. His universal experience could enhance everything he owned. Could he use it to directly raise the Iron Sphere's tier? His familiar, the Iron Sphere, was born as a black iron tier creature, at least not a blank tier failure. But what changes would occur if he upgraded it to bronze or silver tier? He attempted to channel experience into the sphere. New information appeared before his eyes. 2 options were displayed: raise the Iron Sphere's tier or raise its level. He selected tier advancement. The system showed that elevating it from black iron to bronze required 1,000 points of universal experience. He could see exact numerical requirements. This was excellent news. From now on, he could plan his universal experience spending ahead of every upgrade. Grass spheres possessed 150 HP, 20 attack power, and 2 defense. Each kill granted 10 experience points. Hardshell beetles rewarded roughly the same amount, though they boasted higher HP at 200 and fought in close combat. Grass spheres attacked from range by firing grass seeds. Damage increased the closer you stood. From far away, their seeds felt no worse than being hit by snowballs. What's more, they grant generous experience, awarding 10 EXP per kill, while hardshell bugs only give 8 EXP each. He made up his mind to farm grassball monsters. Jiang Sun pulled out the novice gear the system had automatically allocated in his backpack after his awakening. One was an apprentice short staff, and the other was a novice cloth robe. The novice staff looked like a dull black stick. Calling it a staff felt generous. It more closely resembled a cudgel. Still, it boosted magic attack by 10 points. The novice cloth robe was even more comical. It was little more than a scarf, like cape, granting 5 physical defense and 5 magic defense. He equipped both pieces regardless of their quality. Inside the Sprout's secret realm, every individual and party occupied an isolated instance, so no other players would spot him. From afar, Jiang Sun spotted a grassball monster rolling merrily about, scattering grass seeds all across the meadow. Jiang Sun tossed his iron sphere and ordered it to attack the creature. The iron sphere arced through the air and crashed hard into the grassball monster. A damage value of 8 floated above the monster's form. Light as it was, the grassball monster tumbled backward a long way from the impact. The iron sphere pressed its assault, slamming into it repeatedly. Take this, you odd grassball monster. Taste the power of the hammer strikes. Striking once every second, strings of 8 damage numbers kept popping up. Jiang Sun had planned to supplement damage with the summoner's basic attack, Magic Bolt, but he soon realized his mistake. Every blow sent the grassball monster rolling backward more than 10 meters. The pair kept moving farther away with each second. Iron Sphere. Are you planning to come back eventually? With no other choice, Jiang Sun sprinted to chase them. Surprisingly, even at full tilt, he could not catch up to their retreating figures. He chased and chased. Just as the iron sphere and grass ball monster were about to vanish beyond his sight, the monster was slain. A system notification chimed in his mind. Ding! You have slain a grass ball monster. EXP plus 10, copper coin plus 2. Without hesitation, he commanded the iron sphere to seek out more grass ball monsters. A bizarre scene unfolded on the grasslands of the first floor of the Sprout's secret realm. A large iron sphere relentlessly charged headfirst into a grass ball monster, truly living up to the description of being stubborn as a rock. Trailing behind was a human figure gasping for breath as he chased them. No matter how hard he ran, he could never close the gap between himself and the two strange creatures. Screw it. Jiang Sun gave up the chase. Do whatever you want, useless iron sphere. I'll pretend I never summoned you. He flopped onto the soft grass and sprawled out on his back. The pursuit had drained him completely. After resting for a good while, Jiang Sun finally caught his breath. He slowly sat up and glanced toward the direction the iron sphere had vanished. There was no trace of it left. Roughly every 30 seconds, a kill notification echoed inside his head. Had he accidentally unlocked AFK farming? Who would have thought? He'd assumed the iron sphere was dim-witted, yet it turned out to be an unstoppable farming machine. Now came the question, what should Jiang Sun do in the meantime? The game vision was thoughtfully designed. Loot dropped by wild monsters transferred directly into the player's backpack, so Jiang Sun did not need to loot corpses manually. Most drops were simply EXP and copper coins. Occasionally, he obtained basic crafting materials, grass seeds and grass ball spikes, all automatically deposited in his bag. With nothing to occupy his time, Jiang Sun mulled over his options. Maybe try fighting monsters himself? Combining the staff's magic attack with his base stats, his total magic attack reached 15 points. Subtracting the grass ball monster's 2 defense, each hit would deal 13 damage. That meant roughly a dozen basic attacks to kill one grass ball monster. Still, he feared getting hit by its flying grass seeds. What about hunting hardshell bugs instead? Those bulky creatures looked slow-moving. If they could never catch up to him, he could easily kite them to death. He resolved to give it a try and wandered slowly forward along the path the iron sphere had taken. When he reached a patch reeking of foul odor, he saw more than a dozen hardshell bugs clustered together, munching grass bit by bit. As they ate, they used their hind legs to roll grass into balls and push them ahead. They were rolling grass orbs, just like dung beetles. However, attacking one among such a large group would draw the wrath of every other bug nearby. Jiang Sun would not survive a full assault. He needed to find a lone target. He trailed the swarm for ages until he spotted a straggler. For some unknown reason, perhaps distracted while rolling its grass orb, it had drifted away from the group. Jiang Sun wasted no time and unleashed a basic attack. 7 seeing his formidable 15 magic attack deal a measly 7 points of damage to the hardshell bug made him want to cry. The bug immediately abandoned its grass orb and charged straight at Jiang Sun, seemingly intent on ramming him down. Jiang Sun sprinted to evade its attacks while firing successive magic bolts. As a summoner, his ranged basic attack took the form of magic bolts. Physical damage only occurred if he struck monsters directly with his weapon. After growing accustomed to the bug's movement speed, Jiang Sun relaxed. Hardshell bugs boasted high defense and substantial health, yet they moved sluggishly. Their speed matched his own. As long as he kept running, the bug could never catch him. Constant sprinting was exhausting, though. He could not maintain full speed indefinitely. He could only sustain a frantic dash for a few dozen seconds at most. Ding! You have slain a hardshell bug. EXP plus 8, copper coin plus 1. Staring at the pitiful reward, Jiang Sun abandoned his plan to farm monsters personally. He might as well take it easy. He would wait for the iron sphere to gather enough universal EXP to advance its tier. A reliable summon ought to be capable of earning resources on its own. He lay back on the grass, propped up one leg, and stuck a blade of grass between his teeth. Life could not have been more leisurely. It seemed the heavens disapproved of his relaxed state. A newly spawned grassball monster appeared roughly 10 meters behind him. The monster saw someone sprawled across its favorite stretch of grass and refused to tolerate it. A grass seed shot out from an opening atop its body and struck Jiang Sun square on the head. A dull ringing filled his mind. He quickly rolled aside. Who attacks out of nowhere like this? That was completely underhanded. Furious at the ambush, Jiang Sun channeled his summon skill, recalling the iron sphere to his side, then hurled it toward the newly spawned grassball monster. Bang! 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 The two figures gradually moved farther away once more. You dare ambush me? Now taste the relentless hammer strikes. He rubbed his head. Fortunately, no bump had formed. He had only lost 5 health points. Minor damage like that would regenerate automatically before long. Wide awake now, Jiang Sun dared not remain exposed on the open grass. He found a safe spot and climbed up into a large tree to rest. Half an hour passed in the blink of an eye. Jiang Sun checked his universal EXP pool. It held 1,100 points. He activated his summon skill and called the iron sphere back to him. The moment it materialized, the iron sphere tried to dart off again to continue hunting monsters. Truly single-minded. Jiang Sun quickly stopped it and lifted it into his hand. The sphere was no longer ice cold. It radiated faint warmth, testament to how many collisions it had endured over the past 30 minutes. He opened his universal EXP pool and selected tier advancement without hesitation. 1,000 universal EXP vanished and poured into the iron sphere. The sphere shuddered violently, as if resonating with some unseen force. When it stabilized, Jiang Sun examined it closely. It had grown larger. Once the size of a fist, it now spanned 2 fists. 5 protrusions, each around 2 centimeters long, jutted from its surface, positioned like limbs and a head. The Iron Sphere's stats had undergone a dramatic transformation. Summon, Iron Sphere Bronze Tier Rank, 0, Order, Newborn Level, LV.1 Health, 400/400 Attack, 20 Defense, 60 Skill, Impact. Accelerate toward a target and crash into it, dealing damage equal to 200% of attack. Cooldown, 1 second. All base stats had effectively doubled, and the damage multiplier of impact rose from 100% to 200%. Hunting level 1 ordinary monsters would be far more efficient now. Each impact dealt 40 damage. 4 strikes were enough to defeat a grassball monster, and 5 to bring down a hardshell bug. Jiang Sun would no longer need to race after the Iron Sphere. With such a diligent subordinate, he had to make full use of it. No rest for you, Iron Sphere. Back to farming. What blatant double standards. He would never accept non-stop overtime for himself, yet felt no guilt sending his summon to work tirelessly. Less than an hour had passed since he entered the Sprout's secret realm. There was plenty of time left. Jiang Sun decided to keep farming, naturally letting the Iron Sphere handle all the fighting. Something peculiar about the Iron Sphere struck him. Following its promotion from Iron Tier to Bronze Tier, beyond its changed appearance and improved stats, Jiang Sun sensed its intelligence had increased slightly. Yet it remained stubborn as ever, charging every monster it spotted without hesitation. Hammer first, ask questions never. If one blow failed to kill, it would keep striking until victory. With free time on his hands, Jiang Sun turned his attention to studying his unique talent, Universal EXP. He possessed 3 skills, all initial abilities granted upon selecting his class during awakening. The first was a passive skill, Summon Enhancement LV.1. Effect. All summon stats increased by 5%. The second was Summoning, used to call forth summons, more than sufficient for his current needs. The third was Magic Bolt, the summoner's passive basic attack. All 3 were common, grade skills. Almost every class started with basic common abilities. One great feature of Vision was its unified grading system for skills, summons, and equipment. The tiers were Common, Iron, Bronze, Silver, Gold, Platinum, Epic, Legendary, and Mythic, 9 grades in total. 2 passive skills out of 3, what luck! Now that the Iron Sphere had advanced to Bronze Tier, it could slay level 1 monsters much faster, and Universal EXP would accumulate accordingly. Jiang Sun needed to plan how to allocate his EXP. He attempted to channel Universal EXP into Summon Enhancement. The system notified him that upgrading from LV.1 to LV.2 required 300 EXP. Only that little? In the world of Vision, skill levels normally rose through proficiency. Each skill cast granted 1 proficiency point, and a common skill needed exactly 300 proficiency to advance from LV.1 to LV.2. Everything lined up. 1 Universal EXP converted directly into 1 proficiency point. This was fantastic. Killing a single level 1 monster awarded 10 EXP, equivalent to 10 proficiency points for his skills. Other players would need to cast their skill 10 times to earn that much, while Jiang Sun gained it all from 1 monster kill. He held an overwhelming mechanical advantage. There was no reason to hesitate. It was time to level up his skills. Summon Enhancement was his top priority. This permanent passive boosted all summon attributes, and higher levels would drastically improve the Iron Sphere's combat power. Stronger summons meant faster farming, creating a snowball effect. Half an hour later, his Universal EXP reached 1,200 points. Jiang Sun wasted no time pouring it all into Summon Enhancement. Universal EXP, 300. Summon Enhancement rises from LV.1 to LV.2. Universal EXP, 390. Summon Enhancement rises from LV.2 to LV.3. Universal EXP, 510. Summon Enhancement rises from LV.3 to LV.4. He tried to infuse more EXP, but his pool ran dry. The 1200 EXP he had just accumulated vanished in an instant. Universal EXP was far too scarce for his needs. Summon Enhancement's effect had strengthened noticeably. All summon stats increased by 20%. Each level granted an extra 5% bonus. The Iron Sphere's stats adjusted accordingly. Health climbed to 480, attack to 24, and defense to 72. Its combat power received another clear boost. He resumed waiting. An hour later, Jiang Sun suddenly noticed his EXP gain slowing. Previously, he earned more than 1,000 EXP every 30 minutes. Now an hour barely netted him just over 1,000. What was going on? Jiang Sun blinked awake, his vision still foggy from sleep. He scanned his surroundings. The Iron Sphere was nowhere to be seen. No wild monsters lingered near the tree where he'd been resting. He recalled the Iron Sphere and tapped its hard metallic surface. What's this? Have you been slacking off? You're supposed to be gathering resources for us, don't you know? The Iron Sphere remained silent, not a single flicker of awareness to respond. It acted aloof, ignoring him completely. Left with no choice, Jiang Sun climbed down from the tree to investigate. After wandering around for a long time, he uncovered the truth. The Iron Sphere's rapid killing spree meant monster spawn rates could no longer keep up with its pace. Most of its time was spent traveling between spawns in search of new targets. As a result, EXP acquisition efficiency plummeted. It was time to relocate. With the Iron Sphere's current stats, level 2 monsters could not break through its defenses. He had nothing to fear. He traveled toward the center of the grasslands on the first floor of the Sprout's secret realm, where a set of stone steps ascended. At the top of the steps hovered a glowing teleport gate, the passage leading to the next floor. He walked slowly toward the portal, then tossed the Iron Sphere through without delay. Before sending it over, he ordered it to eliminate every monster it encountered. Jiang Sun did not rush to follow. He would let the Iron Sphere scout ahead. If monsters camped beyond the gate, stepping through would expose him to attacks, and getting struck would hurt badly. He would let the Iron Sphere clear the area first while he waited outside. Thanks to lessons taught in school, Jiang Sun already knew all about the secret realm. 2 varieties of level 2 monsters inhabited the second floor, bluefang hares and stinger wasps, neither of them easy opponents. The second floor consisted of dense jungle terrain. A stinger wasp could emerge from behind any tree trunk and strike without warning. The wasp's stinger carried venom, an agonizing experience to endure. His homeroom teacher had once said, being bitten by a bluefang hare was preferable to a sting from a stinger wasp. Though the wasp's raw damage was low, the psychological dread it inspired was immense. The Iron Sphere feared nothing. Its high defense made it perfectly suited to charge in and eliminate everything. Ding! You have slain a bluefang hare. EXP plus 22. Copper coin plus 5. Ding! You have slain a stinger wasp. EXP plus 25, copper coin plus 4. What delightful notifications. Being a summoner with a reliable minion was incredibly comfortable. Who claimed summoners were weak, relegated to the bottom tier of all classes? Jiang Sun was destined to become a powerful summoner. After waiting 10 minutes, Jiang Sun assumed the area around the portal had been cleared. He strode confidently through the glowing gate. The scenery shifted the moment he stepped through. Sparse trees dotted the landscape. Silence surrounded the portal. Unsurprisingly, the Iron Sphere was already far away. Through the telepathic link between summoner and summon, he sensed its general direction straight ahead, though he could not judge the exact distance. Jiang Sun had learned his lesson. He would never chase the Iron Sphere again. In ancient tales, Kwafu chased the sun. Jiang Sun had no desire to become someone chasing an Iron Sphere. It was far too exhausting. Should he find another tree to sleep in? That seemed far too idle. Try hunting monsters himself? No thank you. The stinger wasp's painful stings were not worth the risk. What else could he do? He had not prepared adequately. If only he had brought snacks, drinks, and other provisions to pass the time. Ding, ding, ding. Kill notifications echoed in his mind every few seconds. Growing annoyed, Jiang Sun muted the alert messages. Each stinger wasp slain on the second floor granted roughly 25 EXP, and each bluefang hare awarded 22 EXP. Farming here was far more efficient than on the first floor. Still, Jiang Sun thought progress was too slow. If only he owned a second summon. As this thought crossed his mind, he turned his attention to his summoning skill, currently LV.1. He remembered that his universal EXP possessed rule, defying properties. What would happen if he raised summoning all the way to LV.9 and kept investing more EXP? Could it allow him to unlock a second summon ahead of schedule? Within the rules of Vision, summoners unlocked one additional summon slot each time they advanced in rank. Before reaching First Order, every player could only maintain a single summon. If Jiang Sun gained a second summon, raised its tier, his universal EXP income would surge like a rocket. He could also remain stuck at level 1 permanently to take full advantage of all level-based EXP bonuses. That meant he could power himself up tremendously while still inside this novice trial secret realm. Other players would max out at level 5 within the secret realm and be teleported to the surface novice village to continue their journey. If Jiang Sun followed his plan, he would emerge overwhelmingly strong. A wide grin spread across his face as he imagined the possibilities. Another hour passed, then a second. His universal EXP climbed past 2,800. Without hesitation, he channeled it all into summoning. Universal EXP, 300. Summoning rises from LV.1 to LV.2. Universal EXP, 390. Summoning rises from LV.2 to LV.3. Universal EXP, 860. Summoning rises from LV.6 to LV.7. His universal EXP pool emptied once more. Jiang Sun wondered if the Iron Sphere was slacking on the job. 2 more hours ticked by, and he gained 5,000 EXP. This time, he would max out the summoning skill for certain. Universal EXP, 1120. Summoning rises from LV.7 to LV.8. Jiang Sun winced at the steep EXP cost. The resource requirement for each level jump grew higher and higher. A regular player leveling skills through proficiency would spend ages grinding to reach such heights. Factoring in cast time and mana recovery, raising a common skill all the way to LV.9 would easily take a year or more. Fortunately, he held an extraordinary advantage. He continued pouring EXP in. Universal EXP, 1450. Summoning rises from LV.8 to LV.9. Universal EXP, 1890. Summoning reaches maximum proficiency at LV.9. He attempted to upgrade it further, only to find another 2,000 EXP required for the next advancement. Once again, he lacked sufficient resources. Still, the system confirmation that summoning could keep leveling past LV.9 filled him with excitement. All other players' skills capped at LV.9. Only his universal EXP bypassed this restriction. Truly a power rooted in fundamental game rules. Jiang Sun was utterly baffled, yet curiosity burned inside him to see what improvements his upgraded skill would bring. He hurriedly urged Iron Ball in his mind to keep slaying monsters. Another hour passed, and he finally accumulated enough experience points. 2,000 universal experience. Your summoning art has risen in quality, advancing from common LV9 to Iron LV1. Breaking through the skill limit during the upgrade grants an additional bonus, summon slot +1. Summoning art Iron LV1. Gather mana to summon or dismiss summoned creatures. Cast time, 1.2 seconds. Mana cost, 50. Current maximum number of summons, 2. He carefully examined the changes. The cast time for summoning art had plummeted from the original 3 seconds at common tier down to just 1.2 seconds. Mana consumption also dropped from 100 points to 50 points. This reduction barely mattered to him, though Jiang Sun had no other ways to spend his mana pool anyway. The biggest win by far was the extra summon slot. He was overjoyed. He could finally summon a second creature. Rubbing his hands together, he clasped them before him and muttered under his breath, "All gods and celestial goddesses, goddess of fortune, hear my prayer. Let me summon a divine beast this time." He then activated summoning art, selecting to call forth his second summon. A shaft of white light descended, and something plopped onto the ground. Before Jiang Sun could get a clear look, a strong stench of salted fish washed over him. It was a fish. Its body was slender, its scales pale gray, dried and shrunken. Salt grains still clung to its flesh. It was a salted fish. A fully cured salted fish. Jiang Sun could not believe his eyes. "System, are you messing with me? How can this thing be a summoned creature? I want to live a laid-back life, not summon a salted fish. Can this thing even fight monsters?" Worst of all, it was thoroughly cured and preserved, yet he sensed a faint thread of consciousness coming from it. "You're still alive? How can your vitality be this resilient?" He felt like crying. His prayer had clearly backfired completely. No other summoner in existence would ever summon something this bizarre, right? Come to think of it, salted fish did exist in this world. After all, the world was identical to Blue Star before the game descended. But shouldn't a salted fish end up on a dining table? Why cling to consciousness so stubbornly, just waiting to be summoned by me? He struggled to imagine any viable attack method. Could it endlessly regenerate and suffocate monsters? Or overwhelm foes with sheer saltiness? Resignation washed over him. He had no choice but to accept reality. Time to check its stat panel. Summoned creature, salted fish common. Rank, 0. Order, newborn. Level, LV.1 HP, 80/80. Attack, 8. Defense, 5. Skill, salted fish slap. Leap up and strike the target's face with its tail, dealing damage equal to 100% attack. Cooldown, 2 seconds. Appearance, a palm-sized dried salted fish, stiff and coated in a thin layer of salt frost. Its gaping mouth makes it look as if it's shouting, "Take this blow." Sure enough, it was merely common tier with abysmal stats. Sigh, another unit that would gobble up experience. He gently picked up the salted fish, which twitched occasionally in his grasp. Since you possess such incredible willpower, your master swears I'll lead you to the peak of this world. A faint stream of consciousness flowed into Jiang Sun's mind, conveying warmth, delight, and fierce attachment to him. A common, grade unit wouldn't cut it. In its current state, fighting a level 2 monster alone would be tantamount to suicide. Even level 1 foes would pose a serious threat. And that skill, salted fish slap, it might not kill enemies, but it would certainly annoy them to no end. He wanted to pour experience into it, yet his universal experience pool was completely empty, drained dry. His trusty iron ball remained his most reliable ally. Keep up the good work. I've found you a new companion. Once it levels up, it can share the workload. Still, he wondered, given Iron Ball's recklessly headstrong personality, would it even care about having a teammate? Charging headfirst into battle was simply its nature. He felt worn out. From entering the secret realm, Iron Ball's advancement, the upgrade of his summoner passive ability, all the way to boosting summoning art, he had burned through massive amounts of experience. And all he had to show for it was this ridiculous salted fish as his second summon. His stomach rumbled. He was hungry. Oh well, time to head home for dinner. Nothing mattered more than food. He had no intention of grinding endlessly like those stuck in a perpetual work cycle. Now that he had awakened and gained a solid advantage in combat, why push himself relentlessly? If he wanted to burn himself out, there would have been no point in transmigrating to this world. The aura of leisure grew stronger around him. He could not tell if it emanated from himself or his salted fish summon. He stepped through the teleportation gate, and dusk had fallen. The novice square was still packed with people. Everyone rushed to level and grind monsters, except for one lone summoner walking in the opposite direction, heading for the exit. Amid the crowd scrambling to grow stronger, few understood that enjoying the present was what life was truly about. He glanced disdainfully at the crowd and hummed a tune as he walked onward. Well, look who's here, our great summoner. How deep have you ventured into the secret realm? Just as he was feeling satisfied, an interruption arrived. It was Li Lingxi, who had awakened alongside him that day. Her party had just emerged from the same teleportation gate. Every member of her group was already level 2. They were leveling quickly. Lingxi, you're out too. I've only been grinding monsters on the first floor. Seeing everyone's level 2 now, did you make it to the 3rd floor? Li Lingxi already held a favorable impression of Jiang Sun. Hearing his sweet address, she felt even more concerned for the summoner adventuring alone. Join my party tomorrow, and I'll help you level. It's dangerous going solo. The 1st floor is manageable, but the poison stingers of the venomous bees on the 2nd floor hurt badly. Thanks for the offer, but I'm managing fine. I should hit level 2 tomorrow, and I can team up with you then. Jiang Sun declined her invitation for 2 reasons. First, he did not want his 2 summons to make him look ridiculous. Second, he preferred to keep his secrets hidden. Lying low was the wisest strategy. He could afford to reveal a little strength once he grew powerful enough. Moreover, if he rushed to level quickly, the resources within the Sprout's secret realm would soon fail to keep up with his growth once he reached level 5. At that point, he would have to travel to safe towns on the surface to hunt powerful wild monsters. Hiding his strength would become far harder then, but he could delay that moment as long as possible. He had no desire to draw the attention of major factions, which would only bring endless trouble. He could develop at his own relaxed pace. With his rule, defying universal experience ability, growing powerful was only a matter of time. Besides, Iron Ball alone could easily overpower Li Lingxi's entire party. There was no need to show off. Seeking attention was childish. Having lived 2 lifetimes, he had long since seen through such trivial impulses. He playfully turned down Li Lingxi's invitation and strolled home. He hailed a driver's shuttle. By coincidence, the driver was the same summoner he had ridden with that morning. Hey, isn't that the young summoner who awakened today? So, what's your first summoned creature? Spill the details, I'm curious. Jiang Sun thought to himself. You work nonstop every day, yet you're still this chatty. Has life not worn away your curiosity? My first summon is. Jiang Sun trailed off mid-sentence and fell silent. The summoner driver leaned forward, waiting for him to finish. As the silence dragged on, he grew anxious. Hey kid, what's your first summon? Finish your sentence. Jiang Sun said nothing. Come on, don't leave me hanging. You're driving me crazy. Jiang Sun remained quiet. Young man, buddy, please tell me. Don't you know how agonizing unfinished sentences can be? Jiang Sun kept up his teasing act, appearing ready to speak, yet holding back every time. Before long, the shuttle arrived outside his apartment building. He pulled 20 copper coins from his inventory and handed them to the summoner driver. As he turned to leave, he added one last line. You'd never guess what my first summon is. It's absolutely incredible. With that, he sprinted into the building. The driver Zhang stood frozen on the roadside, consumed by restless curiosity. Haha, serves you right for being so nosy. Hope you toss and turn all night. The mischievous Jiang Sun headed indoors. He did not care whether Zhang got any sleep tonight. On another note, Jiang Xiaoxiao was due for a light scolding. As the saying went, younger siblings ought to be corrected early. Glancing at the dark sky, he decided to let her off for the night. He would talk to her tomorrow morning. He typed in the door passcode and stepped inside. The aroma of home, cooked food drifted through the air. His mother was not home. She must have prepared dinner and headed back to work. Working as a chef came with long hours. Restaurants were always busiest after dark. Jiang Xiaoxiao was sneaking food off the dining table. She looked up just as Jiang Sun walked in. They stared at each other. Xiaoxiao tried to pretend she had not stolen food, though streaks of soup ran down her chin. Her cheeks bulged, clearly stuffed with meat she had not finished chewing. Jiang Sun laughed. What are you doing? Sneaking food again? Mom told you not to eat before dinner. I'm not. She chewed rapidly. I swear I didn't steal anything. Her silly expression amused him. Has Mom eaten? Should we wait for her to get back, or start eating now? Mom said she'll be home around 9. She mumbled through mouthfuls of food. We can eat first, she'll eat later. Checking the time, it was already past 8. His mother would arrive soon, so they would wait for her. He walked over and flicked her forehead, a familiar reprimand. Caught stealing food before Mom's home. Finish your homework right away. Jiang Xiaoxiao clutched her forehead and hurried back to her room to study. She obeyed because Jiang Sun had long established firm boundaries at home. She slammed her bedroom door shut. Her childish voice echoed from inside. Mean Jiang Sun, silly Jiang Sun, idiot Jiang Sun. Once I awaken my power, I'm going to get revenge. Jiang Sun paid her no mind. He sat at the dining table, waiting quietly for his mother to share dinner together. What did happiness mean? It was not measured by wealth. Happiness lay in being surrounded by the people you cared about. Shortly afterward, his mother returned from work. The restaurant where she worked was not far from their home. In this world, life occupation holders could also level up. They gained experience either by fighting monsters or practicing their trade. His mother was already a first-order occupation holder, though she possessed no combat power and could not hunt monsters. She earned tiny increments of experience each day simply working as a chef. Before his mother arrived, Jiang Sun had reheated all the dishes in the kitchen. When she stepped through the door, she saw steaming food waiting on the table. Her heart warmed at her thoughtful son, and she asked casually, Xiao Sun, how was your afternoon? Did you find a party to level with? Puffed, he definitely couldn't find anyone. He keeps hiding what his summon is. No one wants to team up with him. Jiang Xiaoxiao cut in. Another flick landed on her forehead. Ow. Stop flicking me. You should try flicking Mom instead. He ignored his sister's cheeky suggestion. Don't worry, Mom. I can fight monsters alone now. My summoned creatures are extremely powerful. Sigh, I've watched you spend the whole afternoon and still not reach level 1. Summoning must be harder than you expected. Are your summons weak? I can give you some money to buy materials to strengthen them. No, really, my summons are more than capable. His mother only earned 1 gold coin each month at the restaurant. She barely had any savings. The money covered the family's daily expenses with only a tiny surplus. 1 gold coin equaled 100 silver coins, or 10,000 copper coins. The household spent roughly 300 copper coins each day. Mom, I'm a combat occupation holder now. We'll have more income soon. You should quit your restaurant job. It's far too tiring. Silly boy, what would I do at home all day? If I stop working as a chef, I won't gain any occupation experience anywhere else. His mother continued to chatter gently. Focus on leveling in the Sprout's secret realm first. Aim for level 9 before the experience dries up, then venture to the surface. Always prioritize safety, understand? Jiang Sun thought it over. Having his mother stay idle at home would not improve anything. Once he grew stronger, he would help her level rapidly. Once she reached 3rd or 4th order, her lifespan would extend greatly, and she would no longer need to work. The game of observation extended lifespans as tiers rose. The benefits were subtle at 1st order, but 2nd order practitioners generally lived to 120, while 3rd order holders could reach 150. He had not learned details about higher tiers at school. The whole family enjoyed a pleasant dinner. After receiving several more forehead flicks, Jiang Xiaoxiao headed to her room, and everyone prepared for bed. With free time on his hands, he opened his system panel and sent a friend request to his mother. He added his homeroom teacher next. Who else should he add? He could not think of anyone else. He had lived in this world for 10 years and gotten along well with his classmates. Yet as an adult soul, he found it hard to form deep bonds with teenagers. He decided to sleep. Just then, a notification popped up on the friend channel. Your friend Li Lingxi invites you to join the Qingmu City No. 3 High Senior Class 3 Occupation Holder Group. What an overly formal group name. Someone clearly put no thought into picking it. It practically broadcasted which school and class the group belonged to. At least online scams did not exist in this world. Another message appeared immediately after. Your friend Li Lingxi invites you to join the Battle Squad Occupation Group. That name sounded like a team preparing for a competition. The first group must contain all awakened students from their class, while the second was reserved for combat occupation holders. He accepted both invitations. Now his contact list was no longer empty. The first group held over 40 members, all classmates who had awakened their powers this year. The second group only had 4 people, including Jiang Sun and Li Lingxi, who had awakened that day. There were 60 students in their class, and more than half had now awakened. Combat occupation holders remained rare, only 4 in total. He opened the battle squad group. Apart from him and Li Lingxi, the other 2 members were Zhang Dazhuang and Lin Xiaoya. When he saw Zhang Dazhuang's name, he pictured the tall, sturdy young man he had not seen in half a year, standing over 1.8 meters tall. The name suited his build perfectly. He had always seemed slow-witted at school, yet he had awakened a combat occupation with a C-grade talent, iron physique. It was an incredibly sought-after tank talent. Jiang Sun had often hung out with him back then. He wondered if he would still react sluggishly when facing monsters. Slow reflexes would get him hurt badly. The 4th member was Lin Xiaoya, who had awakened half a year earlier. Checking her profile, she was already level 9, preparing to advance to 1st order. Her C-grade talent was Vitality Affinity, making her a dedicated healer. All their classmates had envied her and Zhang Dazhuang. Lin Xiaoya, welcome. Finally, new teammates to liven up this group. Dazhuang has been so quiet lately. Zhang Dazhuang, welcome. Lin Xiaoya was as lively as ever, while Zhang Dazhuang's message carried the same heavy, reserved tone. Jiang Sun, greetings, seniors. I look forward to learning from you all. His polite address brightened their moods, encouraging them to chat more freely. Lin Xiaoya, you two only awakened today? Everyone can join factions once they hit level 5. Organizations evaluate each level 5 practitioner's ability. Hurry up and level, then come join our Clear Do squad. We have plenty of female members in our team. Li Lingxi, I didn't know you joined Clear Do squad. I heard your squad has many healers. Can non-healer combatants join? Lin Xiaoya, that's true. We mainly recruit healers, though we do accept a small number of support and combat occupation holders. Once the 2 women began chatting, Jiang Sun and Zhang Dazhuang were left out of the conversation. He exited the group chat, sent friend requests to Zhang Dazhuang and Lin Xiaoya, then closed the friend interface. Time to sleep. Jiang Sun planned to rest well. The next morning, he slept until he woke naturally. Lying in bed, he browsed game logs and forums before getting up to wash. He valued taking life easy. Since the world was already chaotic, there was no need to rush. He would take things step by step. His goals would be reached in due time. Some people rushed endlessly through life, obsessing over leveling and ignoring their families and friends. Jiang Sun dreamed of becoming the strongest summoner, yet he possessed an unusually laid-back mindset. Join a faction at level 5? What would be the point? Hunting monsters alone suited him far better. He could take quests at the mission hall whenever he wanted. Why join a faction and follow other people's orders? He made up his mind. He would be a lone adventurer. He could go hunting whenever he felt like it, or stay home and tease his sister on slow days. How wonderful that sounded. Most people burdened themselves with anxiety over things that had not yet happened. Jiang Sun refused to live that way. The game had descended 300 years ago. Factions and squads were well established. There was no way a rookie summoner like him would be forced to bear the burden of fighting foreign races. The taller practitioners could handle the worst threats. Material supplies were still somewhat scarce, but everything else was fairly decent. Speaking of material goods, Jiang Sun had earned 2,570 copper coins by hunting monsters the entire afternoon yesterday, not counting monster materials he had collected. Grass seeds dropped by grassball monsters, hair fur from bluefang hares, poison sacs from poison stinger bees. All of these items were stacked inside his backpack. These materials were not worth much, yet Jiang Sun saw no rush to sell them. Over 2,000 copper coins was more than enough for him to spend freely. He took out 10 silver coins from his storage bag and handed them to his mother. He explained that he had earned them hunting monsters. He told her she no longer needed to push herself so hard. His mother took the silver coins and saw it was quite a sum. "Xiao Sun, how did you make this much money in just one afternoon? Promise me you aren't doing anything unlawful." "Ugh, Mom, where's the trust between family?" After breakfast with his mother and younger sister, his mother took the girl off to school. Jiang Sun tidied up his messy yet handsome hair, ready to head out once more for the Sprout's secret realm. Stepping outside, he arrived at the Novice Plaza. First, he bought beverages, beer, peanuts, and sunflower seeds around the plaza. Thinking it still was not enough, he purchased barbecuing equipment and over 10 jin of premium meat skewers. The skewers were made from antler sheep raised within breeding secret realms. The mutton tasted far better than any meat from before the game descended upon Earth. The flesh was tender, completely free of unpleasant fishy or gamey flavors, and regular consumption was said to greatly boost physical vitality. Jiang Sun had no particular need for enhanced stamina. He simply craved how delicious this meat was. All these supplies cost him more than 500 copper coins. Still, Jiang Sun felt no pain spending the money. What was currency for, if not to be used? What was the point of earning coin if he refused to enjoy it? This time, Jiang Sun planned to stay in the secret realm for an extended period, striving to boost his overall strength comprehensively. Before leaving, he told his mother not to wait for him if he failed to return that evening, as he might remain inside the secret realm for several days. After preparing all of his leisure supplies, combat supplies, Jiang Sun completed the registration process with practiced ease and stepped into the secret realm. The rules of this novice secret realm were excellent. Free entry with unlimited attempts. It also featured a death teleportation mechanism, so no one faced true death upon defeat. Unfortunately for other players, there was an experience point restriction. Slaying monsters granted experience, and once their experience gauge filled, they were forced to level up. After reaching level 5, rewards within this secret realm dropped sharply. Only Jiang Sun, this crafty fellow, possessed the universal experience talent, allowing him to allocate experience with precise control. He could hold back every scrap of experience to prevent his character level from rising an inch. Guanlan, the will governing this world, had likely never imagined such a broken talent existed. If it had foreseen this, entry limits would have been enforced. Still, judging by Guanlan's temperament, it probably cared little about the resources Jiang Sun siphoned. What were these trivial gains to it? Even if Jiang Sun blew this secret realm apart, Guanlan could spawn hundreds, thousands more with a single thought. Guanlan, I'll just sit back and watch you gloat. The moment he stepped through the teleportation gateway, he beheld the familiar grasslands. Several grassball monsters rolled merrily across the terrain. In the distance, hardshell beetles rolled balls of grass happily. These two monster species complemented each other naturally. One grew grass, and the other fed upon it. Jiang Sun summoned his two familiars and issued a command. Iron Ball soared out, continuing its habit of crushing foes with heavy blows. Salted Fish, true to its name, moved sluggishly, slowly inching toward a grassball monster. Before it could draw within striking distance, the grassball monster rolled cheerfully away. Salted Fish kept creeping forward. Iron Ball, unable to stand the sight, slammed into the grassball monster with a headbutt and sent it flying. A few more strikes finished off the monster, while Salted Fish still crept along. Iron Ball flew onward without a backward glance, seeking its next target, clearly exasperated by its sluggish companion. Universal experience points accumulated rapidly, almost entirely thanks to Iron Ball's efforts. Now was the time. Universal experience, 200. Salted Fish Common promoted to Salted Fish Black Iron. He had effortlessly raised Salted Fish's tier to Black Iron. Salted Fish's stats now read 160 HP, 16 attack, 10 defense. It remained rather mediocre, yet it could now hold its own against level 1 wild monsters. After advancing to Black Iron tier, Salted Fish stayed much the same. The only change was that it could open its mouth, letting out continuous quiet gasps. Truly embarrassing. Once salted fish reached black iron tier, Jiang Sun brought iron ball and salted fish to the second layer of the secret realm. Monster grinding yielded experience far faster here. Before long, his universal experience climbed above 1,000. Universal experience, 1,000. Salted fish black iron promoted to salted fish bronze. All attributes doubled once more. Salted fish's skill, salted fish slap, had a shortened attack interval of 1.2 seconds, with an attack multiplier raised to 2.0. Every slap salted fish landed now dealt damage equal to 32 multiplied by 2. It was no longer a purely idle familiar. After advancing to bronze tier, salted fish slimmed down from palm-sized, resembling a water serpent. It moved swiftly across the grass, and the strong briny odor clinging to it faded slightly. If the stench lingered much longer, Jiang Sun seriously considered skewering and roasting it. Finding an open space on the second layer, he sent both familiars off to hunt monsters. Jiang Sun happily set up his barbecue grill, arranged seasonings atop a stone, and began cooking. Antler sheep meat cooked quickly. He flipped the skewers twice, sprinkled cumin, salt, and chili powder over them. Grease dripped from the edges of the meat onto the charcoal, sizzling loudly. A rich aroma, mixed with the scent of charcoal, washed over him. This was what mortal warmth felt like. He sipped beer and bit into the grilled mutton, thoroughly enjoying himself. Seeing the steady stream of universal experience flood into his system logs lifted his spirits even higher. The only downside was his little sister's absence. If she were here, he would have loved flicking her forehead. Jiang Xiao, are you a devil? You're hunting monsters inside a secret realm and still daydreaming about flicking my forehead. Evil brother. With nothing urgent to do, he opened his friend chat interface and entered the vocational practitioner group for Class 3, Senior Year 3 at Qingmu City No. 3 High School. It was September. Jiang Sun's birthday fell on the 18th of this month. At this point in time, over 40 out of more than 60 classmates in his grade had awakened their classes. More than 40 group members were online. Though most possessed life professions, only 4 held combat classes. Messages flooded the chat non-stop, perpetually showing an unread count of 99+. Bored, Jiang Sun decided to lurk and observe what his lively classmates were up to. To make identification easier, everyone appended their class to their display names in the group chat. Sun Xiao Taylor. Hey everyone, did you hear? Lin Xiaoya, the most beautiful girl in our class who awakened earliest, is already level 9. She's probably preparing for her first class advancement. Ma Wei Formation Mage, tell me about it. Most of us are stuck at levels 5 or 6. Combat profession practitioners level so fast. I'm genuinely envious. Wang Xiaoming Farmer. Attached a selfie standing before a stretch of farmland, along with text. Fresh, tasty vegetables, plenty to fill you up. Classmates in the group get a 20% discount for pre-orders. Don't miss out. Huh. Quite an unexpected talent among them. Jiang Sun scrolled upward and spotted selfies posted by Wang Xiaoming every single day. After awakening as a farmer, he had located some breeding secret realm and devoted himself to growing crops there. Judging by his bright, joyful grin in the photographs, he genuinely loved farming deep down. It fulfilled his overwhelming urge to cultivate plants. Ever since Guanlon descended, monsters had claimed all land on Earth. For surviving human factions to conduct farming and breeding, they had to secure corresponding secret realms to produce resources. That explained why material supplies remained so scarce. Anyone who chanced upon a resource-type secret realm in the wilderness cleared it and claimed ownership would never worry about resources for the rest of their life. Their head teacher had once earnestly told them, resource secret realms are the source of nearly all material goods we rely on to survive. Never pass one up if you discover it. If you cannot clear it alone, report it to official authorities, and you will receive extremely generous resource rewards. But do not recklessly attempt to conquer a secret realm single-handedly for exclusive ownership. You may lose your life. Though Jiang Sun was reserved and slow to open up, he got along well with his classmates. Seeing everyone pursuing work they loved filled him with sincere happiness. He snapped a photo of himself eating barbecue, with the scenery of the second layer of the Sprout secret realm visible in the background, and sent it to the group chat. The group erupted instantly. Everyone had already envied Jiang Sun for awakening a combat profession. Ma Wei Formation Mage. Brother Sun, is that barbecue you're eating? Aren't you supposed to be fighting monsters tirelessly? Zhou Dacha Chef. Whoa Xiaojiang. Are you planning to live an idle life? Instead of grinding levels, you're kicking back with beer, drinks, and barbecue. I'm so jealous. Zhao Taiju Apprentice Blacksmith. Xiaojiang, you're unbelievable. absolutely unbelievable. Chun Xiaopeng Cattle Herder. By the way, I heard you chose Summoner. Summoners get random familiars, right? What's yours? Send a picture so we can have a laugh. Sun Xiao Taylor. Exactly, brother Sun, say something. Could your familiar be too embarrassing to show us? Don't worry, we'll only tease you a tiny bit. Sun Xiao was such a chatterbox. She posted more messages in the group than anyone else. Wang Xiaoming Farmer. Speaking of brother Sun, what made you pick Summoner? You have no idea. After our teacher learned of your choice, he gave a whole lecture to classmates who hadn't awakened yet, and the core message was, don't follow your example. Jiang Sun smiled at the teasing messages from his classmates. He decided not to share images of his familiars. He could not bear the humiliation. Other summoners' familiars, even those with mediocre initial stats, were at least living creatures, shadow wolves, three-eyed hares, sky steeds, or at the very least slimes. Meanwhile, he had a giant metal ball and a salted fish. Additionally, summoners below Tier 1 could normally command only one familiar. He already had two, so it was best to keep that hidden. Jiang Sun Summoner. I chose Summoner because I like small creatures. Just wait, I'll soar to great heights soon. Humph. Proud emoji once Jiang Sun replied. The group burst into another round of discussion. He continued lurking, occasionally sending a short response. Under Guanlan's rules, the Summoner class was undeniably unpopular. The core issue lay in random summoning. Once a familiar was summoned, it bound permanently to its master, and the odds of obtaining a powerful familiar were abysmally low. Official statistics showed common, black iron, and bronze tier familiars made up over 80% of all summons. Higher tiers grew rarer still. Most summoners drew common or black iron tier familiars, which struggled even against ordinary wild monsters of equal level. Epic tier familiars and above, legendary and mythic tiers, spawned less than 0.3% of the time, extraordinarily rare. That said, a handful of summoners had struck incredible luck. Since Guanlan's arrival, only one summoner had obtained an initial epic tier familiar. That expert now headed the Summoner Professional Guild. Word of this powerful summoner once prompted countless people to select the summoner class. Yet almost all of them ended up weak and ineffective. Authorities had to step in to curb this trend before people regained rationality. If officials had not intervened, the fighting strength of Great Xia would have suffered a catastrophic drop within that generation. It became hard to judge whether that top summoner would be remembered as a hero or a catalyst for disaster. Lost in these thoughts, he periodically checked his universal experience tally. With two familiars hunting, experience accumulated quickly. It had been 2 hours since he entered the secret realm in the morning, and his experience pool now held more than 2,500 points. Time to strengthen salted fish further. You may be named salted fish, but as your master, I won't let you remain idle. Grow stronger. He poured experience into salted fish, only to find he lacked sufficient points. Promoting salted fish from bronze to silver required 5,000 universal experience. Jiang Sun had expected tier advancement to grow harder as ranks rose, yet the experience cost was staggering. If he wanted both Iron Ball and Salted Fish promoted to silver tier, he would need 10,000 experience points. 10,000 experience was enough for a professional to advance to tier 1 mid-stage. This system was absolutely predatory. Jiang Sun dared not imagine how astronomical the experience requirements would become for silver to gold and gold to platinum promotions. He hummed a tune while enjoying his barbecue. Even without enough experience to advance salted fish to silver, he refused to rush. He would grind slowly. Jiang Sun intended to drain every possible resource from the Sprout secret realm. Who else could suppress their level like him? It would be foolish to waste such an opportunity to farm resources. Nearly another 2 hours passed, and his universal experience finally hit 5,000. Now came a choice. Should he promote Iron Ball or Salted Fish first? A genuine dilemma. Help wanted urgently. The answer was obvious to anyone. Iron Ball, of course. Judging purely by work ethic and monster farming efficiency, Iron Ball earned priority. Truly, Jiang the capitalist showed his colors. Hardworking employees deserved priority investment. Universal experience, 5,000. Iron Ball Bronze promoted to Iron Ball Silver. Familiar, Iron Ball Silver level, LV. 1 HP, 800/800 attack, 40 defense, 120 skills, heavy strike, dash rapidly toward a target and crash into it, dealing damage equal to 300% attack, 0.8 second cooldown, and inflicting knockback. Levitation passive, Iron Ball gains permanent flight capability. It can travel freely through the air at high speed, ignoring terrain restrictions. Iron Ball's form shifted visibly. It doubled in size, nearly as large as a basketball. The 5 bumps scattered across its surface grew larger and more distinct, as if limbs and a head were about to sprout forth. Most astonishing of all, faint cyan vein, like patterns surfaced across its exterior. Would it eventually evolve into a tiny metal humanoid? Jiang Sun watched Iron Ball's new shape with eager anticipation. The mental feedback Iron Ball sent him grew clearer after advancement. It drifted over and rubbed against him repeatedly, as if thanking its master for upgrading its tier and promising to work even harder from now on. Truly an excellent worker. In contrast, Salted Fish, already a bronze tier familiar, remained unmotivated. It lacked Iron Ball's ferocity and dedication when hunting monsters. Sigh. He would have to wait until Salted Fish reached Silver tier to see if any improvements emerged. Iron Ball's HP and defense had doubled, and its basic ram attack evolved directly into Heavy Strike. Still, Jiang Sun clicked his tongue examining the skill cooldown. Who had ever heard of a Heavy Strike skill with only a 0.8-second cooldown? Its attack frequency matched a basic strike. On top of that, it granted knockback. While mild, any effect formerly listed in Guanlan's system operated under world rules. Previously, Iron Ball could send grass ball monsters flying with impacts, yet that was merely standard physical force. This knockback effect functioned differently. Regardless of a monster's size, weight, or species, it would be pushed back unless protected by a superior counter skill. It also gained a new passive levitation. Previously, Iron Ball needed to roll across the ground to reach enemies before attacking. This had severely limited its grinding efficiency. Rolling could never compare to flying. Watching Iron Ball hover beside him with a staggering 120 defense stat, Jiang Sun declared that no foe on this second layer could threaten them. Jiang Sun recalled his teacher's lesson. If too many monsters on a single layer of the Sprout's secret realm were slain, elite monsters would spawn. In rare cases, hidden events could trigger. He had hunted poison stinger bees and bluefang hares for a long time, so why had nothing spawned yet? The mechanics of the Sprout's secret realm were quite beginner-friendly. Each layer held roughly 200 monsters, which respawned 3 to 5 minutes after being defeated. A passage leading to the next layer sat at the center of every level. Monsters appeared sparsely around the outer edges and grew denser closer to the central passage. Ordinary professionals clearing the realm usually eliminated only monsters blocking their path before moving onward to the next layer. Jiang Sun alone camped on one layer to farm universal experience nonstop. Early on, teaming players adopted similar tactics. Attempting to advance to the next layer with low levels was akin to courting disaster. Now promoted to Silver tier, Iron Ball's monster grinding efficiency surged. Jiang Sun only needed to issue a command, and Iron Ball shot forward at high speed. It charged straight toward poison stinger bees and bluefang hares. Attacks from the bees and hares bounced uselessly off Iron Ball's body, unable to breach its defense. A single heavy strike from Iron Ball instantly killed each bluefang hare and poison stinger bee. His grinding speed multiplied several times over. Another hour slipped by. Just as his universal experience neared the 5,000 mark, a system notification chimed. Ding! You have slain an excessive number of poison stinger bees. Hidden event triggered on the secret realm's second layer, Hive Fission. A poison stinger hive has spawned deep within the second layer. From this moment onward, every poison stinger bee you slay cracks the hive further. Once the hive splits completely, elite poison stinger queen level 3 will spawn. After defeating a certain number of elite queens, the field boss hive matriarch level 5 will emerge. Proceed with caution, practitioner. Oh, a hidden event had finally activated. Instead of feeling nervous at the news of incoming elite and boss monsters, Jiang Sun grew even more excited. If Iron Ball had not advanced to Silver tier, he might have retreated to the first layer and returned to tackle this event after growing stronger. Now that Iron Ball possessed Silver tier strength, he was eager to test the elite monster's capabilities. Moreover, his universal experience was almost at 5,000, meaning Salted Fish could soon advance to Silver tier. He refused to believe a pair of Silver tier familiars could not handle a single elite monster. Ignoring the system warning, Jiang Sun ordered Iron Ball and Salted Fish to continue slaying poison stinger bees. No bluefang hare escaped either. Every one that appeared met a swift end. Before long, his universal experience passed the 5,000 threshold. The moment had arrived. Salted Fish, this is your chance to prove yourself. Don't let me down. Familiar Salted Fish Silver level, LV.1 HP, 768/768 attack, 77 defense, 48 skills. 1. Basic attack, Salted Fish Slap, Salted fish leaps up, whipping foes with its tail to deal damage equal to 300% attack. Attack interval, 1 second. Active skill, a briny aura blast. Salted fish condenses its potent briny scent into a cloud and unleashes it outward. All targets within a 10-meter radius suffer a 30% movement slow for 5 seconds. Cooldown, 3 seconds. Not bad at all. Upon advancing to silver tier, Salted Fish unlocked a crowd control skill. Judging by its duration and cooldown, it could maintain near permanent slow effects. Against fast-moving monsters, Salted Fish could slow them until they doubted their own speed. Jiang Sun could easily picture how stifling that thick, briny mist would be for enemies. Monsters were in for an unpleasant surprise. Salted Fish had truly transformed and grown powerful. Best of all, it no longer closely resembled an ordinary salted fish. Its silvery body looked sleek and supple, its tail swaying naturally from side to side. Its mouth opened and closed as it floated through the air, and subtle expressions formed on its fish head. Newly empowered, it grew cocky, glancing sideways at Iron Ball, as if issuing a silent challenge. Iron Ball would not stand for such insubordination from its junior partner. It rammed Salted Fish hard and sent it flying far away. Salted Fish stared back with its dull eyes, still looking unyielding. Could Salted Fish finally be developing a stubborn streak? That was excellent news. Jiang Sun quickly stopped the two familiars from fighting and ordered them to resume hunting monsters to gather more experience. As poison stinger bees fell one after another system alert echoed. Ding! The poison stinger hive has fully split open. Elite poison stinger queens will begin spawning shortly. Stay vigilant. They're here, Jiang Sun thought to himself. The instant the notification faded, a louder, buzzing noise surrounded him. Turning toward the sound, numerous elite poison stinger queens spawned all around. Each was 3 times larger than ordinary poison stinger bees, with dark green bodies marked by twisted tawny poison veins across swollen abdomens. Their wings vibrated faster than regular bees, generating a deeper, heavier hum. Stingers as long as a young child's arm protruded outward, glinting coldly. A drop of dark green venom dangled precariously from each stinger tip. They exuded overwhelming pressure. Their appearance was far more intimidating than standard poison stinger bees. Jiang Sun opened his system panel to examine their stats immediately. Elite Poison Stinger Queen level 3 HP, 1200 attack, 80 defense, 15 skills, Stinger Barrage, fire a fan-shaped volley of stingers. Each stinger deals 30 damage. Cooldown, 8 seconds. Summon Worker Bees. Summon 2 Poison Stinger Bees to assist in combat. Cooldown, 30 seconds. It wielded 2 skills, an aerial attack and summoning ability, making it capable both offensively and defensively. Yet upon seeing its attack value, Jiang Sun relaxed. Its strikes could not penetrate Iron Ball's defense. Salted Fish, however, lacked sufficient defense to shrug off damage, so careful tactics would be required. With a thought, he summoned Iron Ball and Salted Fish directly to his side. Iron Ball took the front line, Salted Fish positioned behind it. Forward, you two warriors. Iron Ball surged forward, instantly reaching one elite poison stinger queen and unleashing heavy strike without hesitation. Same tactic as always, crushing blows. Salted Fish followed closely behind Iron Ball and closed in on the monster. It leaped upward and slapped the elite poison stinger queen straight across the head. 125, 196. 2 damage values popped up consecutively above the monster. The elite poison stinger queen fought back instantly, unleashing Stinger Barrage. Countless stingers shot from its swollen abdomen straight toward Iron Ball. The stingers clanged against Iron Ball's metallic surface, bending harmlessly without inflicting a single point of damage. Its attack was an area of effect skill, yet each poison sting only dealt 30 damage, insufficient to break the fish's defense. The elite poison stinger wasp queen brandished her sharp stinger and let out a shrill cry, instantly summoning 2 worker wasps to join the fight. Unfortunately, the summoned worker wasps shared the same limitation. Their regular poison stings still failed to pierce the iron sphere's armor. The elite poison stinger wasp queen appeared to possess considerable intelligence. Seeing she could not harm the iron sphere at all, she ordered the 2 worker wasps to hold it back while she charged straight for the fish. The fish was now in trouble. Though it tried its best to hide behind the iron sphere, a poison sting still landed, immediately stripping away 38 HP. The fish's mouth gaped open into an O shape, a clear sign of agony. Still, with over 700 HP, it could withstand several more such hits. The pain ignited the fish's ferocity. It repeatedly slapped the elite poison stinger wasp queen across the face. In less than 10 seconds, the wasp queen collapsed and dissolved into white light. Ding! You have slain elite poison stinger wasp queen. Obtained 44 copper coins, 2 times royal jelly, plus 212 experience points. The battle had been grueling, yet the rewards were satisfying. The experience gain was far higher than that from ordinary poison stinger wasps. Coupled with experience from the 2 worker wasps, a single elite poison stinger wasp queen granted as much experience as 6 or 7 regular poison stinger wasps. The fish bore the brunt of the suffering. It was still letting out pained cries. Its call was distinctive, clear and drawn out, reminiscent of a spirit of the ocean. Right now, however, the sound carried a note of suffering. Having defeated the elite poison stinger wasp queen, the 2 diligent combatants wasted no time and charged toward other wasp queens. Watching this scene, Jiang Sun nodded in satisfaction. Hard-working companions were truly wonderful. He was quite fond of them. With that thought, he found a safe spot and resumed taking it easy. Fighting was out of the question. Lazing around was the only way to get by. As time passed, more and more elite poison stinger wasp queens fell in battle. The iron sphere contributed the most, for none of the incoming attacks could penetrate its defenses. Universal experience poured in rapidly. Longguan was rather generous. Knowing he needed experience, it had arranged a hidden event to let him farm faster. Jiang Sun almost felt guilty. Even so, he showed no mercy when harvesting experience. Soon, his universal experience once again crossed the 5,000 threshold. Jiang Sun checked. Upgrading both the iron sphere and the fish from silver to gold required 25,000 experience apiece. Promoting them in the near future was unrealistic. He decided to first upgrade his 3 initial common grade skills. Every little bit helped. His first priority was summon reinforcement. Each level substantially boosted his summon's power. Universal experience, 660. Summon reinforcement, LV.4 raised to LV.5. All attributes of summons increased by 25%. Universal experience, 1,890. Summon reinforcement, LV.8 raised to LV.9. All attributes of summons increased by 45%. In an instant, the passive skill summon reinforcement reached LV.9, granting a 45% boost to all summon attributes. Empowered by this skill, the iron sphere became even sturdier, and the fish now only lost 22 HP when struck by poison stings. Upgrading a common skill to iron grade demanded 2,000 experience. He was still more than 900 short. That would only take 4 or 5 more elite monsters. For ordinary players, leveling a skill to LV.9 through accumulating proficiency would take an eternity. Only Jiang Sun could directly substitute proficiency with universal experience to level up his skills. Before long, he gathered enough experience. Universal experience, 2,000. Summon reinforcement common LV.9 upgraded to summon reinforcement iron LV.1. All attributes of summons increased by 50%. Breaking through from common to iron added another 5% attribute boost. The total enhancement now stood at 50%. The improvement was tremendous. He attempted to infuse more experience and discovered advancing iron. Grade summon reinforcement from LV.1 to LV.2 also cost 2,000 universal experience. The experience requirement kept rising. He would need to keep farming. Since he had nothing better to do, Jiang Sun pulled a large handful of antler lamb skewers from his backpack and began grilling happily. He sprinkled cumin and chili powder. Fat sizzled off the antler lamb as it roasted. The aroma was incredibly tempting. The meat tasted far better than any lamb Jiang Sun had eaten back on Blue Star in his past life. It melted on the tongue with a faint milky sweetness. He alternated bites of barbecue and sips of beer, thoroughly enjoying his meal. Would he put on a few pounds by the time he exited the secret realm? If he grew heavier, Jiang Xiaoxiao would never stop teasing him. He resolved to go on a diet. But first, he needed a full meal to have energy to lose weight. Braised chicken, Portuguese egg tarts, spicy dry pot bullfrog. Who could resist crispy braised duck, tofu skin, and shrimp paste hot pot? Slow, stewed pork trotters, sesame flatbread, wontons, and sesame paste. Cola, hamburgers, pizza, French fries, soft, serve ice cream, and milk tea. Saliva welled up. He wished the food delivery rider would hurry over. Humming a tune, meat skewer in one hand and beer in the other, Jiang Sun savored his feast. While Jiang Sun indulged in his food, a faintly blurred elder silently materialized in a tree roughly 20 meters behind him. The old man looked extremely aged and unkempt, his gray hair matted like a bird's nest. He wore tattered gray robes and clutched tightly a black short staff wrapped in strips of cloth. He stared with complicated eyes at the youth enjoying his barbecue. In front of the youth, two summons swiftly eliminated elite poison stinger wasp queens. The summons fought with clean, decisive strikes, forming a stark contrast to the youth's relaxed demeanor. The elder climbed clumsily down from the tree and approached Jiang's son. His footsteps made barely any sound. "Young man, you have fine taste. This is the first time I've seen someone so carefree within a trial secret realm." The moment Jiang's son heard the voice, a chill ran down his spine. He was thoroughly startled. He quickly turned his head and spotted the old man standing beside him without warning. From everything he had learned about the first Sprout secret realm back in school, he knew all its core mechanics. There was no record of an elder appearing here. Could this be a ghost? "Old sir, who are you? Are you human or a spirit?" Jiang's son gripped his brand, new common novice staff, and held it awkwardly in front of himself as a guard. The elder paid no heed to his defensive posture. He sat down beside the grill uninvited, reached out, grabbed a skewer of antler lamb, and took a big bite. Jiang's son could see that the elder was missing most of his teeth. Only two large incisors remained firmly in his gums. Fortunately, antler lamb melted easily in the mouth. Otherwise, Jiang's son doubted the elder could chew it at all. Something felt deeply amiss. Still, he recalled that death within the first Sprout secret realm was not permanent. Anyone defeated would merely be teleported out. This thought calmed him slightly. "Old sir, please eat your fill. I have plenty more. Would you like some alcohol? Nothing would be better than strong liquor aged 20 years or longer. That's my favorite drink." Jiang's son retrieved the bottle of white liquor he had prepared earlier from his inventory and handed it over. After removing the stopper, the elder chugged several mouthfuls in a row. "Excellent liquor. It has been many years since I tasted this. How nostalgic. Old sir, could you tell me who you really are?" Jiang's son persisted with his question. "Me? I am someone who has long passed away. The scent of your delicious food drew me here." As they talked, Jiang's son gradually learned the elder's story. Long ago, Longguan descended upon the elder's world. Before Longguan's arrival, this place was a quiet mountain valley village. It was a small settlement of several hundred households nestled between mountains beside a river. A clear stream wound past the village. Colorful wildflowers grew along its banks. Every evening, village children played beside the stream, while adults returned from farmlands carrying hoes. The elder once lived here. Villagers called him Brother Sheng. He was the strongest hunter in the village, always bringing home the biggest catches. Beyond feeding his own family, he shared game with everyone else. He once enjoyed a happy life, with a kind, hard-working wife and a lively young son. But misfortune struck. Soldiers arrived one day, saying war raged outside and conscription was underway. Brother Sheng was drafted and forced to leave with the army. His boy was only 5 years old when he departed. Before leaving, Brother Sheng stroked his wife's soft cheek and patted his young son's head. "Father is off to fight. I will return once the war ends." Those were the words he told his son, yet he never made it back to that peaceful valley. He campaigned far and wide with the army, growing stronger over time, until Longguan descended. Monsters and fiends rampaged across the world. He obtained a game panel and became an awakened, a hunter by class, tasked with slaying invading monsters. Eventually, he grew into one of the most powerful people in that world. Even so, they could not protect their home. In the end, the world was swallowed by monsters. Brother Sheng fell in the final battle. Perhaps bound by overwhelming longing for his wife and child, his spirit drifted back to this valley. But everything lay in ruins, devoid of people. As his spirit wandered, Longguan somehow transformed this land into a secret realm, trapping his soul here ever after. Staying here allowed him to feel as if his family and fellow villagers were still nearby. Later, this secret realm manifested through Longguan in Qingmu City, Daxia. Wave after wave of spirited young awakened entered for their first trial. Groups came and went. He watched on like a spectator, as if witnessing generations of villagers pass by. He never understood how he could persist, watching endlessly. Life was full of unknowns. Then Jiang's son, the laid-back young man, arrived, farming monsters while grilling food and singing songs. After years without tasting mortal cuisine, Brother Sheng could resist no longer and revealed himself. He ate barbecue and drank liquor steadily. His alcohol tolerance was remarkable. 2 bottles of white liquor had not dulled his senses. "Young man, I shall offer you an opportunity. I do not know how I came by this knowledge, but it has lingered in my mind ever since this land became a secret realm. If you trigger and clear the hidden event on every floor, you shall reap extraordinary rewards. I will share this news with you, to repay all the fine food you have given me. Jiang Sun had been quietly lamenting the food the elder consumed, but his spirits lifted immediately upon hearing this. Triggering hidden events on each floor sounded simple enough. Keep killing monsters. Slay enough foes, and hidden events would activate. Only someone like Jiang Sun, leveraging the universal experience mechanic, could afford to farm here extensively. Ordinary players would leave once they hit level 5 on the first floor with no further gains. He promptly dispatched his second reliable combatant, the fish, to continue slaying monsters on the first floor. The hidden event on the second floor was already active. Once the first floor's hidden event triggered and its final boss defeated, only the third, fourth, and fifth floors remained. He could use this chance to accumulate more universal experience. If he could raise both the iron sphere and the fish to gold, even platinum rank, he could relax and remain a hands-off commander. An old man and a youth sat beside the grill, alternating bites of barbecue and sips of alcohol. To outsiders, they might look like grandfather and grandson out for an excursion. With nothing else to occupy him, Jiang Sun opened his status panel. Since awakening, aside from his summons and skill levels, all his base attributes had stayed unchanged. Staring at his mere 100 HP, Jiang Sun clicked his tongue. Should he invest resources to strengthen himself? Otherwise, he risked instant defeat in combat. Within the Longguan system, Awakened typically advanced along 3 paths. First, slay monsters to gain experience and level up. Each level granted base attribute points and free attribute points for distribution. Second, equipment. However, item drop rates in Longguan were extremely low. Gear mostly dropped from Secret Realm bosses and Lord-tier monsters, usually as equipment forging blueprints. Crafters were required to forge finished items, and complete equipment drops were exceedingly rare. Third, skills. Upon selecting a starting class, every Awakened received 3 free class skills. Beyond class skills existed universal skills usable by any class, and cross-class skills. Learning skills outside one's class would reduce their effectiveness. Class skills were mostly obtained by purchasing skill tomes or learning them at the guild. Universal skills could be bought directly from the system shop. Rare skills occasionally appeared on the system auction house, though supplies were limited. Perhaps he ought to learn several universal skills. Most Awakened carefully planned their skill builds, focusing on class skills to maximize their class strengths. They then leveled those chosen skills by raising proficiency. Jiang Sun faced no such restriction. He could learn multiple universal skills and level them rapidly using universal experience. This unique method of progression held enormous potential. Skills were categorized into 9 grades: common, iron, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, epic, legendary, and mythic. According to Jiang Sun's homeroom teacher, most Awakened only possessed skills of the first 3 tiers. Those wielding gold, silver, or platinum skills were acknowledged powerhouses. Throughout human recorded history, no one had ever obtained epic, legendary, or mythic grade skills. It demonstrated how complete Longguan systems were, and how scarce high-tier skills truly were. Few people in the world could upgrade skill quality the way Jiang Sun did. For now, he decided to focus on strengthening his summons. After all, he always stayed far away whenever fighting erupted. He would keep an eye out for passive universal skills that boosted survivability. If any affordable options appeared, he would purchase them and gradually level them up. Jiang Sun cherished this steady sense of growing stronger step by step. The only downside was the staggering universal experience cost. With 2 silver grade summons, his experience acquisition rate already outpaced the vast majority of players. Yet so many avenues demanded universal experience. Summons needed leveling, skills needed upgrading. That did not even account for summon skill advancement. Later, if he obtained equipment, it would require experience to enhance as well. Just thinking about it gave him a headache. Still, Jiang Sun was an optimistic person. No matter how the outside world shifted, he intended to remain calm and focused. He planned to stay within the first Sprout Secret Realm and power up substantially before venturing to the surface. The surface of the Longguan world teemed with powerful monsters, dotted with tens of thousands of walled safe zone towns. News frequently spread of these safe zones falling to monster assaults. For newly awakened players, the standard practice was to level up to level 5, even level 10 within floating cities. Before heading to the surface, the silver grade fish was far stronger than its original common form. Slaying level 1 monsters on the first floor was effortless. The only factor limiting farming speed was monster respawn rate. Ding! Mass extermination of hard shell beetles has triggered the first Sprout Secret Realm Floor 1 hidden event. Elite Giant Mandible Ant Queen LV.2 will soon spawn. Proceed with caution, awakened. Speak of the devil, the hidden event had arrived. He told Uncle A Shung to continue eating and drinking, then departed with the iron sphere and hurried to the first floor. Upon arrival, he saw numerous pits opening across the once smooth grassland. Elite Giant Mandible Ant Queens crawled out of the holes, wielding massive pincers to besiege the fish. Each giant mandible ant queen was as large as a young calf. Sharp mandibles snapped as they attacked the fish. Elite Giant Mandible Ant Queen LV. 2 HP, 800 attack, 60 defense, 10 skill. Summon worker ants summons 3 hard shell beetles to assist in combat. The fish was no longer the sluggish creature it once was. After advancing to silver grade, its defense reached 40. With the 50% all attribute boost from iron grade summon reinforcement, its defense climbed to 60. The giant mandible ant queens could no longer break its defense. Having realized incoming attacks could not harm it, the fish adopted a fully aggressive stance with no evasion. The open grassland echoed with the sound of the fish's heavy slaps. Within moments, one giant mandible ant queen collapsed. The 2 summons eliminated the ant queens efficiently. Monster spawns could not keep up with their kill speed. After they defeated the last newly spawned giant mandible ant queen, no more appeared. Near the path leading to the second floor, a mound bulged from the grass, as if a colossal creature was about to break through the soil. Ding! Your relentless slaughter of giant mandible ant queens has enraged the first Sprout Secret Realm Floor 1 hidden boss. Burrowing Ant King LV.3 will spawn shortly. Approach with extreme caution. That was quick. Experience gain on the first floor was lower than on the second. He would aim to finish the fight swiftly. Boss Burrowing Ant King LV.3 HP. 2000 attack, 100 defense, 10 skills. Burst Surprise. Digs underground for 3 seconds before erupting beneath the target, dealing 100 damage and launching the victim airborne. Cooldown, 10 seconds. Hardened Carapace. Reduces physical damage taken by 30% for 10 seconds. Cooldown, 20 seconds, a level 3 boss. Its HP was nearly triple that of elite monsters, and its attack power doubled. Even so, it posed little threat to the silver, grade iron sphere and fish. The 2 summons charged straight at the burrowing ant king. The battlefield resounded with crashing impacts and heavy slaps. Jiang Sun remained alert, mindful of the boss's burst surprise skill. While its attacks could not penetrate the iron sphere's defense, a surprise underground assault would drain most of its HP. A follow-up strike might even destroy it. He circled the battlefield constantly, weaving left and right in erratic patterns. In less than 5 minutes, the burrowing ant king was slain. Ding! You have defeated burrowing ant king. Obtain plus 300 universal experience, 80 copper coins, 2 times ant king carapace fragment, iron, grade sturdy belt. Surprisingly, an equipment drop. He had slain countless elite monsters with no gear rewards, yet defeating this level 3 boss yielded equipment. Not a bad haul. He pulled the sturdy belt from his inventory and examined its stats. Iron, grade sturdy belt slot. Waist rank. Iron usable by all classes base attribute. HP plus 50, it was nothing exceptional stat. Wise, yet it marked his first piece of self-looted equipment. He equipped it immediately. He adjusted the dark belt and fastened it around his waist. His HP instantly jumped from 115 to 165. Every increment counted, so he kept it equipped. Ding! Floor 1 hidden event completed. Region, wide announcement available. Do you wish to remain anonymous? A regional announcement? Anonymous, absolutely. Steady, low-profile growth was the wisest path. Regional announcement. Congratulations to the anonymous player for triggering and clearing the first Sprout Secret Realm Floor 1 hidden event. 3 consecutive regional announcements echoed inside everyone's mind. At that moment, every professional within the boundaries of Qingmu City received the notification. The regional channel instantly erupted. Player 1. I've never heard of this. The Novice Secret Realm in Qingmu City actually has a hidden event. Player 2. If missing out counts as suffering, then I guess I've missed the first Sprout Secret Realm. Player 3. Does anyone know the trigger conditions for the hidden event in the first Sprout Secret Realm? Player 4. Just a Novice Secret Realm, yet clearing its hidden event triggered a system announcement. It's been months since the last system announcement went out. There must be some amazing rewards, right? Player 5. Too bad I'm already Tier 1 and can't enter the first Sprout Secret Realm anymore. Otherwise, I'd go explore it no matter what. Jiang Sun read the flood of messages on the regional channel and clicked his tongue. Good thing his name stayed anonymous. Otherwise these players would pester him endlessly. Jiang Sun wasted no more time on the first floor and teleported back to the second floor. He had already slain quite a number of elite poison Sting Bee queens on this level. Jiang Sun estimated that the final boss would spawn soon. He glanced at his universal experience points. The counter showed over 13,800 points. It was still not enough to upgrade Iron Sphere to gold grade. Should he invest more points into the black tier summon enhancement skill? Every level up brought obvious improvements to all summons. Besides, he wouldn't need to hoard massive amounts of universal experience all at once. He made up his mind immediately. Universal experience, 2,000. Summon enhancement black tier LV.1 rises to LV.2. All attributes of summons increased by 60%. Just as he expected. Though leveling the black tier summon enhancement now cost more experience, the attribute boost was far more impressive. Each level granted an extra 10% to all attributes. There was no reason to hold back. He poured all his remaining universal experience into the skill. Universal experience, 3,600. Summon enhancement black tier LV.5 rises to LV.6. All attributes of summons increased by 100%. Staring at the less than 400 universal experience points left, Jiang Sun wanted to cry. Universal experience vanished far too quickly. Right now, he was practically penniless. Not only was he broke, his expenses were outrageously high. The two summons attributes had now doubled. Jiang Sun was ready to head for the third floor. Time to wrap up the hidden event on the second floor. The second floor boss sure knew how to hide. He'd farmed countless elite poison Sting Bee queens, yet the boss still hadn't appeared. No matter. As long as elite monsters kept spawning, he would keep hunting them. He would drag the boss out eventually. He wondered just how long it planned to hide. Half an hour later, the long-awaited system notification finally arrived. Ding! Having slain a great number of poison Sting Bee queens, the hidden event boss of the second floor is about to emerge. Professionals are advised to proceed with caution. As the notification faded, the entire second floor of the secret realm trembled. A low buzzing hum echoed from the depths of the zone, like some colossal creature struggling to take flight. Moments later, Jiang Sun laid eyes on the giant beast. It was larger than an elephant. 6 pairs of translucent wings attached to its back beat at high frequency, creating that deep drone. Boss, Hive Matriarch LV.5 HP, 6,000 attack, 200 defense, 60 skills, corrosive fluid spray. The Matriarch sprays corrosive liquid forward. Range, 10 meters. Deals 150 spray damage plus continuous corrosion damage of 50 per second for 5 seconds. Swarm Command, summons 4 elite poison Sting Bee queens to assist in combat. Cooldown, 20 seconds. Death Venom Detonation. When critically wounded, the Matriarch erupts all its venom, dealing 400 poison damage within a 5-meter radius. All targets caught within the blast suffer a poison debuff that deals 50 damage every second for 10 seconds. Whoa, the stat inflation was ridiculous. This level 5 boss was not just slightly stronger than the level 3 bosses. Its power had nearly tripled. Still, Jiang Sun checked Iron Sphere's stats. 240 defense, 1600 HP. Perfect, the boss could not break through its defense. Salted Fish had 80 defense and 1280 HP. It would take damage, but it could endure 8 or 10 hits. No more hesitation. Charge, Iron Ball, Chew and Fish Chew. But he had to watch the boss's HP closely. Once it neared death, Salted Fish needed to retreat immediately, or the explosion would kill it. Iron Sphere charged forward fearlessly, slamming its heavy body repeatedly into the Matriarch's head. Jiang Sun could even see a slight dent form on the creature's skull. Considering its massive size, the injury was minor. Salted Fish looked tiny next to the Hive Matriarch, far too small to pose an obvious threat. Yet every strike it landed stripped over 300 HP from the boss. 324, 190. The health ticked down rapidly every second. At this rate, the Matriarch's 6,000 HP would vanish in no time. A dozen seconds passed in the blink of an eye. When only around 500 HP remained on the boss, Jiang Sun recalled Salted Fish without delay. He would let Iron Sphere land the final blow. Its thick armor and high HP could survive the explosion. A deafening bang rang out. The Matriarch detonated, bursting into a cloud of blood and shredded flesh spraying out in all directions. Thankfully, Jiang Sun had stayed far back. If he got caught in that blast, with his mere 100+ HP, he would be instantly defeated. Ding! You have defeated boss Hive Matriarch LV.5, gained 1500 experience. Obtained material, Hive Essence ×1. The boss's loot was pretty underwhelming, but the experience reward was generous. equal to slaying more than 10 elite poison, sting bee queens. Ding! The hidden event of First Sprout Secret Realm 2nd floor has been completed. Normal monster respawns will resume on this floor. A regional announcement will be issued shortly. Remain anonymous? Here we go again. Anonymous, absolutely anonymous. Regional announcement. Congratulations to the anonymous player for triggering and clearing the hidden event on the 2nd floor of the First Sprout Secret Realm. The second regional announcement completely ignited the regional channel. Countless players flooded the chat with discussions. Talk even spilled over into the world channel. What kind of extraordinary talent had appeared this year? Someone who triggered 2 hidden events in quick succession and cleared both successfully. Jiang Sun paid no attention to the commotion. Steady, low, key growth was the true path to power. Privately, he grumbled that the boss hadn't dropped any equipment at all. What a cheapskate. 1 level cleared. He strolled back to the barbecue campsite. Uncle Ashing was still eating nonstop. Jiang Sun wondered how such a lean body could hold so many lamb skewers. 3 bottles of liquor were already gone. If he kept drinking, Jiang Sun's stock would run dry. Uncle Ashing, I finished the hidden event on the 2nd floor. I'm heading to the 3rd floor now. Want to come along? Youngster, I'll pass. Barbecuing here is plenty nice. The 3rd floor is a stream valley with knee-deep water, not a good spot for grilling. I'll wait here for your good news. Hearing that, Jiang Sun did not push him. He pulled another 5 caddies of lamb skewers and 2 bottles of liquor from his inventory and set them beside Uncle Ashing. He then led his 2 summons forward, marching confidently into the teleportation gateway to the 3rd floor. A flash of white light. The moment Jiang Sun landed, icy water submerged everything below his knees. Right away, a dark mass hurtled toward him. Splat! It smacked straight into his face. You have been hit by mud breath. Movement speed reduced by 50%. HP, 28. Whoa. Attacked immediately upon arrival. What even was this mud breath? Memories from what he had learned surfaced. He recalled the 2 types of monsters native to the 3rd floor. The first was the mud creature, and mud breath was its signature skill. The damage was low, but the skill was incredibly annoying. The monsters kept hurling clumps of mud, and the 50% movement slow made dodging far harder. If trapped by multiple slowed stacks, you would slowly get pelted to death by endless mud globs, a truly frustrating way to die. He ordered his 2 summons to attack at once while attempting to dodge left. As soon as he moved, Jiang Sun felt as though someone had slowed time around him. His limbs dragged sluggishly, creating a jarring disconnect between his sharp mental reactions and his physical movement. He nearly stumbled. He steadied himself, carefully adjusting his movements to evade incoming attacks. Luckily, mud creatures did not have high HP, only around 500. Under the assault of Iron Sphere and Salted Fish, they fell quickly. 3 seconds later, the slow debuff faded. Jiang Sun regained full control over his body. He'd gotten reckless just now. If he'd sent Iron Sphere and Salted Fish ahead to clear monsters near the portal first, he would not have suffered that surprise hit. No more carelessness, he reminded himself firmly. Thankfully, Iron Sphere and Salted Fish easily overwhelmed all minor monsters on the 3rd floor. Jiang Sun opened the system interface to examine the local creatures. Mud Creature, LV.3 HP, 500 attack, 55 defense, 12 skill, Mud Breath. Hits inflict 50% movement slow and deal damage equal to 100% of the caster's attack. Valley Stone Crab, LV.3 HP, 400 attack, 55 defense, 15 skill, Water Arrow Spray. Fires a jet of water dealing 40 damage. Humph, these small foes pose no threat. Iron Sphere, Salted Fish, go all out and hunt. The valley soon echoed with the rumble of collisions and sharp smacks. Jiang Sun took the chance to observe his surroundings. The winding valley stretched roughly 40 to 50 meters wide, receding deep into the distance. A clear brook flowed along the valley floor, currently reaching Jiang Sun's knees. The water streamed onward into endless darkness behind him. Towering layered mountains rose on both sides, dotted with various trees. A breathtaking scene, streams winding between thousands of peaks, water tinkling over scattered stones, deep valleys shrouded in lush shade. It would be perfect for fishing, if not for the swarms of monsters everywhere. The portal leading from the 3rd to the 4th floor must lie deeper within the valley. There were not many monsters guarding the entrance. Before long, the 2 summons cleared the area and advanced deeper into the secret realm, pushing through groups of beasts. Mud creatures looked bizarre, formed from clumps of living mud. They kept launching mud globs at Iron Sphere, slowing its movement. Yet Iron Sphere could fly, so its aerial speed remained swift. Valley Stone Crabs looked far more intimidating. Insect, Type creatures seemed harmless when small, but once scaled up 10 times, they became terrifying. Each crab was as large as a millstone, with menacing exposed mouthparts. Their massive claws waved continuously, striking iron sphere and salted fish, sending sparks flying on impact. Jiang Sun trailed behind at a leisurely pace. Ding! Valley Stone Crab Slain. Gained 40 experience, 20 copper coins. Obtained Valley Stone Crab Claw ×2. Watching the constant stream of kill notifications scroll past, Jiang Sun felt immense satisfaction. He was practically living like a landowner now. Come to think of it, could these crab claws be cooked? Roasted crab claws would smell absolutely amazing. He let the two summons continue hunting on their own and teleported back to the second floor via the gateway. He walked over to Uncle Ashing and pulled out two enormous crab claws from his storage space, presenting them proudly. Uncle Ashing, look what I brought you. Roasted, these will taste incredible. Uncle Ashing glanced sideways at him. You've got a great eye, youngster. I've never even tried this kind of ingredient. You really know how to spot good food. Jiang Sun did not mind his teasing. Food and rest were essential joys in life. What point was there in living if you denied yourself simple pleasures? He grabbed his newly acquired novice staff and struck the crab claw hard. The shell did not budge an inch. The shell was tougher than it looked. He struck with greater force, finally cracking the upper half of the claw shell. He pried the top open, leaving the lower half intact to form a natural shell pot. Valley Stone Crab, Valley Stone Crab. You even come with your own cooking vessel. Truly a thoughtful crab for anyone planning to eat you. He set the half-open crab claw directly over the fire. Blazing charcoal licked the outer shell. Soon, rich grease bubbled out from the crab meat, dripping through shell cracks onto the embers. The droplets instantly vaporized, sending an even richer aroma swirling through the air. When oil began bubbling steadily inside the shell, Jiang Sun judged it ready. He handed one claw to Uncle Ashing first, then picked up the other for himself. He reached into the shell and pulled out a large chunk of crab meat. The hot, tender meat separated cleanly from the shell, firm and springy to the bite. A sweet, fresh flavor burst across his tongue the moment he bit down, flowing straight down his throat. Subtle smoky notes from the charcoal added extra depth. He had no garlic to season it with, yet it tasted better than any crab he had eaten before. Monster ingredients were truly special, far more flavorful than ordinary wildlife. Furthermore, meat harvested from these creatures eased fatigue and slowly restored HP. A full day had passed since he entered the secret realm. After eating the crab meat, Jiang Sun felt energized, without a trace of exhaustion. Uncle Ashing ate with immense delight, mouth glistening with juices just like a seasoned gourmet. Once full, drowsiness washed over Jiang Sun. He watched the steady stream of kill logs and felt a quiet sense of happiness. He spread a thick wool blanket over soft grassland, pulled straight from his storage bag. He knew how to take care of himself. He refused to endure unnecessary hardship. He drifted off for a short nap. Upon waking, he felt no irritation, only a pleasant, sluggish reluctance to move. He opened his system panel to check on his two summons. Kill notifications continued to pop up nonstop. They were working diligently, good little companions. He would reward them with extra rations later. Truly a classic exploiter at heart. He opened his class group chat. Sun Xiaoshou. Hey everyone, did you see the system announcements? Someone triggered hidden events in the First Sprout secret realm, twice. I'm so jealous. I wonder which genius it is. Zhao Taizhu. I saw them, but no one's heard of hidden events in the First Sprout secret realm for hundreds of years. Zhang Dezhuang, I'm honestly envious. Too bad I can't enter anymore. Zero chance of reaping any rewards. Lin Xiaoya. At Li Lingxi, aren't you inside the secret realm? Did you run into any powerful players while exploring? Li Lingxi. I'm still here. My team and I are tackling the third floor right now. We haven't encountered any hidden events at all. Wu Banxian. To trigger 2 hidden events in a row, this person must possess extraordinary fate. It's a shame their identity stays anonymous. Otherwise, this old Taoist would seek them out immediately. Zhao Taizhu. Wu Banxian. Can you figure out who it is through divination? Wu Banxian. Heaven's secrets cannot be revealed. The time has not yet come. Not yet come. Qin Xiaoping. Whoever it is, I hope it's someone in our class. We could try to get close and ride their coattails. Speaking of which, Chef Zhou, what's for dinner tonight? Chef Zhou, I've perfected a new recipe using wild boar meat. This dish can boost stats. Anyone want to volunteer as a taste tester? Qin Xiaoping. Count me out. I don't want to get any heavier. The group chatted lively. Jiang Sun found Wu Banxian the most entertaining. Rumors said he awakened a grade B verdict talent. Ever since awakening, He acted more like a wandering fortune teller. Wu Banxian had always loved divination. With his new talent, he cast a reading for himself and chose a random hidden occupation, becoming an official diviner. The job matched his personality and talent perfectly. Even before awakening his power, he already dressed and acted like a fortune teller. Now he fully embodied the part. Watching this lively group of acquaintances lifted Jiang Sun's spirits. He aimed to become the strongest summoner. He could not afford to slack off and laze around. Time to go help Iron Sphere and Salted Fish Farm monsters. Then he pictured clods of mud hurtling from mud creatures toward him, and his newly regained motivation faded instantly. Forget it. Let the two summons keep farming. It was not laziness, just a matter of personal cleanliness. He casually opened the system shop, filled with a dazzling array of goods. Yet very few items were useful to him right now. A skill named Life Source suddenly caught his eye. He read its description. Life Source, passive skill rank, common LV.1, permanent maximum HP plus 5. Automatically regenerates 1 HP every second. Price, 800 copper coins. The price was affordable, but the effect seemed extremely underwhelming. In the Guanlon world system, all humans and creatures existed under digitized rules, yet basic natural HP regeneration still functioned. Regeneration rates varied based on environment and physical condition. A normal level 1 professional recovered roughly 1 HP every 3 seconds in a safe zone. Regeneration slowed further during combat or under poor conditions. This skill only offered slightly better recovery than natural healing. The permanent maximum HP boost was negligible, merely plus 5 points. Less damage than a single light blow. No wonder this skill had been hanging on the market for ages with 0 buyers. While its base stats were utterly mediocre, Jiang Sun saw things differently. He held universal experience in his hands. Low stats at the common tier did not mean weak bonuses at iron, bronze, or silver grades. Jiang Sun's biggest trump card was universal experience. It could replace skill proficiency and max out skill levels directly. Reaching level 9 in each quality tier unlocked an advancement to the next rank. For ordinary awakeners, leveling up passive skills was far more grueling than active ones. Active skills gained 1 proficiency point per cast. Spamming the ability was enough to raise its level. Passive skills worked on an absurd rule instead. Without activating the passive effect, you only earned 1 proficiency point every 12 hours automatically. An extra proficiency point was granted only after accumulating sufficient healing from triggered passive effects. Take this Life Source self-regeneration skill as an example. Users needed to regenerate a total of 1000 HP to gain a single proficiency point. This mechanic was brutally unfriendly to regular players. No one could realistically slash themselves repeatedly with a blade just to trigger the healing effect. Passive effects could not be activated on demand at will. That explained why passive skills were largely ignored across the world of the game view of the waves. Their painfully slow proficiency gains put most players off entirely. A small number of players would still purchase these skills if they had ample spare time, choosing to grind levels slowly through passive hourly gains. Virtually no player possessed the patience for such a tedious process. With this thought in mind, Jiang Sun spent 800 copper coins to buy the skill book outright. Upon completing the transaction, the book appeared instantly inside his system inventory. He pulled the plain, unassuming book out and held it in his palm. He channeled his mental focus onto the item, bringing up the system prompt and selecting Learn. The book dissolved into a stream of light and merged into Jiang Sun's body. A new passive skill named Life Source appeared within his skill bar. Using his innate talent to inspect its progression, he saw that boosting Life Source from common LV.1 to LV.2 only cost 100 universal experience points. Without hesitation, he poured the required experience into the skill. 100 universal experience. Life Source common LV.1 LV.2. Permanent max HP plus 10, passive HP regen plus 2 per second. For 60 universal experience. Life Source common LV.8, LV.9, permanent max HP plus 90, passive HP regen plus 9 per second. Jiang Sun maxed out the common tier of Life Source in an instant, spending fewer than 2,000 universal experience points in total. His passive HP regeneration now sat at 9 points each second, a massive upgrade, though the permanent HP boost was still underwhelming at only 90 total extra HP. He did not stop there and continued investing experience into the skill. 2,000 universal experience. Life Source common LV.9 advanced to Life Source Iron LV.1. Permanent max HP plus 130, passive HP regen plus 12 per second. 2,500 universal experience. Life Source Iron LV.1 LV.2. Permanent Max HP, plus 170. Passive HP Regen plus 14 per second. 6,000 Universal Experience. Life Source Iron LV.8 LV.9. Permanent Max HP plus 450. Passive HP Regen plus 28 per second. Every bit of the universal experience he had accumulated over recent days was completely drained. Still, the returns were well worth the investment. Individual level-up HP bonuses looked small on paper, yet all buffs stacked permanently with every upgrade. Thanks to this skill investment, Jiang Sun was no longer a fragile glass cannon with merely 100 or so hit points. He had become a durable tank with a total HP pool of 2,775 and 28 HP restored every second passively. His health total was now comparable to fully evolved tank class players after their first job advancement. A solid sense of safety washed over him, and he let out a hearty cheer. With Life Source bolstering his survivability, Jiang Sun grew far bolder in his actions. He kept browsing the player marketplace for cheap basic skills sold by other users. He had a hunch that these low-tier basic skills, powered up and advanced through universal experience, could rival rare high-tier abilities in overall strength. 4 days had passed since he awakened his powers, and 2 days had gone by since his second entry into the Budding Sprout's secret realm. Every universal experience he earned during those 2 days had been funneled into maxing Life Source, costing over 30,000 experience points total to transform himself into a bulky tank. If those same points had been used to upgrade his Iron Orb companion instead, it would have easily reached gold quality by now. Even so, Iron Orb and Saltfish were performing adequately for current combat needs. Jiang Sun estimated both companions would hit gold rank once he cleared the 4th floor's hidden event. Elevating a companion from silver to gold required 25,000 universal experience apiece. He was eager to witness their enhanced capabilities after the breakthrough. As time wore on, Iron Orb and Saltfish eliminated countless marsh beasts and streamstone crabs. Jiang Sun's inventory was stuffed full of crab claws harvested from the defeated mobs. Ding! Your mass slaughter of marsh beasts and streamstone crabs has triggered the 3rd floor hidden event. Elite blue-eyed water pythons LV.3 will now spawn continuously. Defeat a sufficient number of these elites to summon Deep Pool Lizard Drake LV.4, the final boss of the 3rd floor hidden event. It's finally here, Jiang Sun muttered. He made no move to join the fight, opting to idle alongside Uncle Ashung on the 2nd floor. His 2 companions would handle all combat duties while he rested comfortably, a perfectly balanced division of labor. Growing bored from lying around, he spoke to the elder beside him. Uncle Ashung, what rewards do you get for clearing hidden events across all 5 floors of this realm? Uncle Ashung shot him a lazy glance at his slouched posture and took a swig from his wine bottle. Heaven's secrets are not to be spoken. Keep grinding, and you'll find out soon enough. Fine, keep your secrets. I'll clear every hidden event sooner or later anyway. Jiang Sun huffed. Drowsiness overtook him once more, and he drifted off to sleep. An incoming system alert jolted him awake after an unknown length of time. You have slain enough elite blue-eyed water pythons. The 3rd floor hidden event boss Deep Pool Lizard Drake will spawn shortly. All awakeners are advised to exercise caution. No more leisurely downtime for him now. Jiang Sun stood up, brushed dirt off his clothes, and headed for the teleport array leading to the 3rd floor. The moment he teleported in, cold stream water lapped at his ankles. His companions were nowhere to be seen near the entry point, only dull thuds of impact and sharp smacks echoing from deeper within the waterway. Following the sounds for several hundred meters, he spotted his 2 companions locked in fierce battle against a monstrous creature. Boss Deep Pool Lizard Drake LV. 4 HP, 8,000 attack power, 150 defense, 40 abilities, Poison Breath, 5-meter radius AoE, 50 unmitigated poison damage per second for 8 seconds, 15-second cooldown. Poison damage ignores all defensive stats. Tail Sweep, strikes all targets within a fan-shaped area for 180 physical damage. This was his first encounter with true unblockable damage in this realm. Having played dozens of similar games in his past life, he was familiar with true damage and poison damage mechanics that bypass armor values entirely. He had not expected such a mechanic to appear on a mere level 4 boss. However, defense had its limits. Raw HP was the most reliable form of survival. He congratulated himself on his wise decision to purchase and max out the Life Source skill first. The boss's health bar was already depleted by half, meaning the creature did not have much fight left. The beast bore cyan scales across its body, a draconic head fused with a lizard's torso, and a vertical blood-red slit pupil glowing ominously on its forehead. It towered in size, making Iron Orb and Saltfish look like tiny mosquitoes by comparison. Yet these two minuscule companions had carved massive chunks out of the boss's health pool. The boss's HP plummeted steadily with every strike they landed. Conversely, nearly all of the boss's attacks were rendered useless against Iron Orb's absurdly high defense stat. Only the poison breath posed any real threat to the orb companion. A dozen seconds later, the boss unleashed one final wave of toxic mist before letting out a pained wail and collapsing lifelessly into the water. Ding! You have defeated Boss Deep Pool Lizard Drake. Gain 2,000 Universal Experience, 200 copper coins, times 2 Drake Poison Glands. You have completed the third floor hidden event. A regional server announcement will be broadcast. Choose to remain anonymous? He selected anonymity without hesitation. There was no sense revealing his identity after staying hidden through every prior clear. Ding! Congratulations to the anonymous player who triggered and cleared the third floor hidden event of the Budding Sprout Secret Realm. The announcement repeated 3 times, echoing in the minds of every player within the entire Azurewood City region. Jiang Sun paid no mind to the global notice. Both companions had been hit by the final poison breath, their HP ticking down 50 points per second from the lingering toxin even after the boss's death. Luckily, each companion held close to 2,000 total HP, enough to withstand multiple full poison applications without being felt. Once the poison debuff faded, less than a third of their health remained for both creatures. Their weakened state tugged at Jiang Sun's heartstrings. He led them back to the second floor, roasting skewers of mutton and crab meat to let them recuperate and restore full health before attempting the fourth floor challenges. Saltfish gulped down the roasted food whole without chewing a single bite. Since evolving to silver quality, faint facial features had begun forming along the raised protrusions on Iron Orb's surface. It rolled over to the grilled meat, which vanished the instant it made contact with the orb's body. It did not take long for both companions to recover full health. This fight made it clear he needed a support-type summoning beast to round out his team. 2 pure damage dealers lacked versatility. Unfortunately, he only possessed 2 summoning slots for now. A third slot would unlock once he advanced to Tier 1, or possibly upon upgrading his summoning skill from Iron to Bronze grade. He mulled over the idea, yet his stock of universal experience was far too low at present. He still planned to raise both Iron Orb and Saltfish to gold quality, a goal requiring a combined 50,000 experience points. Worse still, new summons spawned randomly from the summoning skill, leaving him no guarantee his next familiar would fill a healer/support role. An alternative plan surfaced: learn active healing skills himself to serve as the team's healer. The idea was viable, so Jiang Sun resolved to monitor the marketplace for affordable basic active healing skills going forward. His personal passive HP regeneration was formidable, yet it could not heal or restore his companions' health pools. After a short rest, Jiang Sun marched toward the 4th floor with his 2 companions, ever eager to farm more resources and experience. Light dimmed drastically upon entering the 4th floor. A putrid stench hung thick in the air, reminiscent of rotting organic matter left to decay underground. Tall withered grass stood waist-high across the terrain, crunching loudly under every footstep. Jiang Sun scanned his surroundings and frowned. There were no enemies anywhere in sight. Every previous floor had flooded him with hostile mobs the moment he teleported in, yet this area was eerily silent and empty. Something was off. He pulled up his status panel to check his experience reserve. Universal experience, 28,420. He quickly tallied up his required costs in his head. 25,000 experience was needed to promote Iron Orb to gold quality, with another 25,000 required for Saltfish. He lacked sufficient experience to upgrade both at once. He glanced over at Iron Orb, which hovered 30 centimeters off the ground beside his shoulder ever since its silver evolution. Faint internal thumping sounds emanated from within its spherical body, as if something pounded against the inner shell from time to time. Saltfish floated nearby, its round mouth opening and closing mindlessly as if chewing thin air. Jiang Sun made his decision. Iron Orb would receive the gold evolution first. As the frontline tank and most aggressive combatant, the orb deserved priority access to resource upgrades for its diligent performance in battle. Without further delay, he opened the companion menu. Iron Orb Gold Quality Evolution costs 25,000 Universal Experience Points. Confirm infusion? Jiang Sun took a slow breath and confirmed the prompt. Infusing 25,000 Universal Experience Points into Iron Orb. Remaining Universal Experience, 3,420. A strange phenomenon unfolded immediately. The faint rhythmic heartbeat originating from inside iron orb cut out entirely. Jiang Sun blinked in surprise before a deafening dull boom echoed outward, a violent impact from deep within the orb's core. It was powerful enough to send ripples through the surrounding air and flatten all nearby dry grass, with the resulting shockwave. Jiang Sun instinctively stepped backward. Iron orb's exterior grew scorching hot as golden light seeped outward through its engraved runes, starting faint and gradually blazing brighter until Jiang Sun had to squint against the glow. The golden pattern spread outward from the core across the entire spherical surface, branching and multiplying until the runic network covered every inch of Iron Orb's shell. A low resonant hum vibrated out from within the orb, a deep thrumming that resonated through Jiang Sun's very bones and even caused his teeth to rattle in his jaw. Saltfish drifted forward, its gaping mouth opening and closing in apparent confusion at the odd disturbance. Jiang Sun gently nudged the fish companion aside and kept his gaze locked firmly on Iron Orb's transformation. The golden runes solidified in place, the loud hum softening into a steady low-frequency vibration mimicking slow, deliberate breathing. Iron Orb swelled noticeably larger, expanding from the size of a basketball to 1.5 times that volume while retaining its spherical shape. Its exterior color shifted to matte dark gold with a mirror-smooth polished finish, the golden runes flowing slowly across the dark base like living liquid veins. Distinct facial features including defined eyes and a mouth had fully materialized on the raised section of its body, capable of subtle, independent movements now. Jiang Sun knelt down to examine the orb's sleek new form closely. With this polished look, someone would easily pay 1,000,000 coins for you if you were sellable, he muttered to himself, before correcting his own thought. Not that I'd ever sell you. Who else would tank all incoming damage for me? He brushed Saltfish away when the fish drifted too close to the evolving orb, the creature receiving a light swat for its trouble after constantly smacking Iron Orb during previous fights. Jiang Sun stretched out a finger and brushed against Iron Orb's surface. The orb responded instantly to his touch with a gentle vibration, conveying a quiet sense of obedience and attachment to its summoner. He tapped the sphere softly once more, and Iron Orb nudged itself lightly against his fingertip. Jiang Sun was amused by the clear bond forming between them. He focused his mind to pull up Iron Orb's updated stat sheet. Iron Orb, Gold Tier, Rank 0, LV.1 HP, 2800 attack power, 280 defense, 400 abilities. Basic attack, Mountain, Crushing Strike, deals 400% attack damage on impact, paired with a small, area shockwave knockback effect. Attack interval, 0.9 seconds. 2. Passive, Levitation, drastically enhanced movement speed and aerial maneuverability. Jiang Sun stared at the stats for a long moment before exhaling slowly and calculating its true combat values with his Summon Empowerment buff active Iron LV.6, granting plus 100% all stats to summons. Iron Orb's base defense of 400 doubled to 800 total defense after the buff application. The number alone stunned him briefly. The Deep Pool Lizard Drake from the 3rd floor only dealt 150 raw attack damage per basic strike. Its blows would not even scratch Iron Orb's fortified armor. The Poison Breath remained a notable threat with its unmitigated 50 damage per second over 8 seconds, 400 total damage per full poison application. Yet Iron Orb's boosted effective HP reached 5,600 after the stat doubling. It could endure 10 full poison bursts without dropping to 0 health. Its defensive durability was now unshakable. His eyes widened upon noticing the newly added shockwave effect on its basic strike. Calculating the full boosted combat stats once more with the Summon Empowerment buff applied. Iron Orb effective combat stats, plus 100% Summon Empowerment HP, 5,600 attack power, 560 mountain, Crushing Strike damage multiplier times 4.0 equals 2,240 total strike damage defense, 800. Jiang Sun glanced toward Saltfish with a hint of pity after reviewing Iron Orb's monstrous upgraded stats. Don't look so glum, he addressed the fish companion. You're next in line for a gold evolution upgrade. Saltfish rolled its milky white eyes in obvious disdain at the promise. The stat leap upon reaching gold quality was utterly transformative for summons, and Jiang Sun grew increasingly eager to witness Saltfish's own evolution effects. Even so, he quickly realized he could not gather enough experience within the Budding Sprout secret realm to promote both companions to gold tier. Farming hidden events would require months of mindless grinding otherwise. Jiang Sun was in no particular rush. yet he refused to waste unnecessary time lingering in the realm. Once Saltfish received its gold upgrade, he would rush to clear the remaining floors and exit the secret realm entirely. Instead of rushing into combat immediately, Jiang Sun opted to test out Iron Orb's brand new capabilities first. Its flight mechanics were completely overhauled post-evolution, where it once floated sluggishly like a deflated balloon with noticeable momentum during turns. It now darted through the air with the speed and precision of a lightning bolt. Iron Orb arced in a tight loop around Jiang Sun twice before executing an instant full-stop mid-flight with zero deceleration phase whatsoever. Jiang Sun watched the display in stunned silence at the physics, defying aerial agility. He then gestured for Iron Orb to execute a charged dash attack from 20 meters ahead of his position. A streak of dark gold light rocketed straight toward him faster than his eyes could track, halting sharply 1 meter away from his body. The resulting gust of wind swept his hair backward forcefully. The orb hovered steadily in place, its internal hum a slow, stable thrum matching a steady breathing rhythm within its golden shell. One full charge dash would have pierced straight through that lizard drake boss back on floor 3 without breaking a sweat. Jiang Sun imagined the battle scene vividly in his mind. He then motioned for Iron Orb to strike the ground to test its shockwave ability. Boom! Cracks spiderwebbed outward across the soil with flying gravel and dust, flattening every dry stalk of grass within a wide radius. The ground tremor was strong enough to be felt beneath Jiang Sun's feet several meters away from the impact site. He examined the 2-meter-long, finger-wide fissure torn open across the Earth's surface. 2240 damage plus a radial shockwave. A single hit would pulverize shadow cats into paste instantly. He contrasted this destructive output against Saltfish's current silver tier stats. 128 base attack multiplied by its 300% slap damage modifier for a total of 384 damage per hit. Saltfish's damage was serviceable against individual targets, but lacked the area, clearing dominance Iron Orb now wielded. He expected to finish clearing floors 4 and 5 soon enough to gather experience for Saltfish's own gold evolution. Iron Orb's single strike packed 2,240 damage alongside area shockwave damage, perfect for wiping out groups of enemies all at once. Our farming efficiency has just doubled. Jiang Sun patted the golden orb gently. From now on, you handle crowd control and main damage, while Saltfish picks off weakened stragglers. Iron Orb emitted a low resonant hum in acknowledgement of his command. Jiang Sun felt a twinge of sympathy for all monsters residing on the 4th floor now. These foes were essentially defenseless prey, facing a maxed high-tier combat unit inside a low-level dungeon, equivalent to a max-level player returning to stomp through the game's starting tutorial zone. As if on cue, the first wave of enemies emerged from the withered grass to confront him. Faint rustling noises echoed from deep within the thick underbrush, dry twigs snapping underweight, with no audible footsteps accompanying the sound. Jiang Sun turned his gaze toward the disturbance and spotted pairs of eerie lime-green glowing eyes flickering to life one after another within the grass, multiplying into dozens of luminous pinpricks spread across the terrain. A faint smirk tugged at Jiang Sun's lips. Where previous floors forced him to grind tirelessly for monster spawns, now the opponents practically marched straight to his position. He patted Iron Orb's surface once more. Go on, Golden Flash Orb, show off your brand, new strength. Iron Orb let out a sharp hum before shooting forward as a blazing streak of golden light. The shadow cats did not even have time to let out a shriek. They were sent flying violently through the air, their forms dissolving into particles of light mid-air alongside splatters of internal tissue. A flood of system kill notifications flooded Jiang Sun's mind in rapid succession.